Good evening, good evening, good evening. Bless up by One Love. Come early. Bless up One Love. Bless up the Jargons, El Meek. How's everyone doing? It's the day after the debacle. So how are you guys doing? How is everyone doing? It is Tuesday. Is it Tuesday? You know, sometimes you remember, we forget the days. But bless up Goontown, bless up Flash G, Sylvester. My eyesight is not that great, you know. Everyone good? Everyone good? Let me know if you guys can hear me loud and clear. Can you hear me? Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Bless up Flash G, bless up Float, Owen. Let me know if you can hear me loud and clear. Make sure I turn up my thing so me can hear myself too. Put on my glasses. My glasses for watching TV, people. But wear your glasses. What else? Monday morning. No. Cornwallian. No. Don't even go there. Monday morning quarterback. Go watch my programs and you can see what we talked about before and what transpired. So don't send me up there Monday morning quarterback. We're visionaries. That's what you should say. We're visionaries. We know what good looks like. We don't need nobody to tell you. My phone has been blowing up. Hey, people, a phone call. We had this morning at 6 o'clock. We're going to blow up since 6 o'clock. People are not having it, people. People are not having. But welcome. It's the day after. Somebody say I'm playing Monday morning quarterback, having hindsight view. No, sir, not playing Monday morning quarterback. What we're doing is we're in mourning. Reggae Boyz fans are in mourning. They're not used to this situation. All right? You're not coming back to America. People started thinking, well, at least him dip me. We're not struggle. No, JFF calling. JFF wants to send me go somewhere. JFF is not calling. Ice doing his thing. I've been reading about Ice, you know. Didn't the Trump administration first inform the hospitality industry, farms and others that they should back off pursuing undocumented persons who are in those industries, and then they rescinded that order, which is really interesting actually, because that people, if you're in the US, be prepared to pay higher prices for a lot of stuff, because you have to exploit people not to pay high prices. I watched a documentary the other day. They were talking about building ships in the US versus in China, and what it costs to like build a ship for like say 300 million in China probably costs you 5 times in the US. That's how it normally works. Those of us who live in the US benefit from the cheaper labor in other countries, or those who are undocumented who can't push for higher labor. They're the ones who supplement our lifestyle. So no stay there. Those of you who have these nice lifestyles going to change. Odell says, cranky, honestly, I think the loss was for the best. Maybe we can't really see the right players. Yeah, there's some benefits to be derived from losing. We all just got to look through and see, you know what? What is it? In any bad situation in life, there's something good that come out of it, seriously. But it's hard to see it when you're in that situation, right? Flashy said, I don't believe those fools about anything and everything. If they open their mouth, they're lying. Yeah. Cranky, you buy Trump mobile phone. I didn't know Trump had a mobile phone. Trump has mobile phone. I don't really mess with Trump or something. I know about Trump, you know. I don't mess with Trump. I don't mess with MAGA. I just that they believe in people in life who are just evil, innately evil. So I don't really mess with them. So I don't know what Trump, when Trump has his crypto or has his Truth Social side. I only hear about these things, but I don't participate. I don't engage in the propaganda. Trump has always been a person who his companies go bankrupt. He has these flashy things, and then for some way, somehow, he finds a way to get out of those situations. Now he has the biggest scam ever being president of the United States. He and his family can go around the world and have access. And you know what that means. So, yeah, not a good situation. But we're here to talk football. And now that you have had some chance to sit back, think, I need to know your perspective on yesterday's game. All right? We had a chance to sit back, think, digest, reflect, mourn. There's a lot of fans are mourning. Crankies for the liberals. I don't know what. Hey, Christopher. So, Christopher, are you a MAGA person? I want to demand deporting all you people who are MAGA people, all those Cubans in Florida, all those Latinas out west, all you people, no crying like little babies. I hope Trump deport all of them. I support him. I'm not straight. I mean, are the ones who straight and had others who are not straight? I hope I don't know PFE. Bless up Las Blancas. I know what the professor tag, but how you doing? Z phones. The first I'm hearing about this actually. Discount phone. Yeah. What is it? What is in his phone that's so unique? Why anybody want to buy his phone? Man is a salesman. He's an artist, but not the right kind of artist. Oh, that's cranky. I'm starting to feel like this coach don't believe in young players. You see how he played Mothersill for 20 minutes against Nigeria and Campbell for 10 minutes in Jamaica. Yeah, there's a lot to digest, right? A lot to digest, a lot to talk around. Talk about it, I should say, actually. So let's start, actually. Let's start with the game itself. No, I did look at SofaScore. I really wasn't impressed with SofaScore and its ratings. It make it look like we played well, and we didn't. If you look at the percentage of the stats, possession stats, we actually, when the game ended, had more of the ball than Guatemala, which is why stats sometimes can be deceiving. Because they basically yeah, but Winston, you gotta select somebody, right? If all politicians are politics, you gotta select somebody to represent you. Wow. Trump is something else. But Blanca says, Painting, I can tell you me hurt, man. Yeah, I think fans are more shocked than anything else. Right? I think you go into a game having played them at home, and I mentioned this yesterday, and people sort of pushed back on me about this. It wasn't their best team. They played coy. And they came out with a strategy and a method that they deployed and employed, which worked really well for them. And we had nothing, basically, nothing. Clueless, literally clueless. Our midfield was non-existent because we didn't have one. You know what? Let's do this. We'll talk about this, people. So I made sure I brought this up again because I think it's important to bring this up, right? This is the squad. And if you look at our midfield, look how much defenders we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 defenders. Now in football, depending on what formation you play, you normally play 4 defenders. So we have 9. So if we played 4, we have 5 on the bench. Now look at the forward line. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 forward. So if you play 3, you have 6 on the bench. Now listen to me now, people. So we'll have 6 forwards on the bench if we play 3 out of 9. And we'd have 5 defenders on the bench, right? Look on the midfield. Now, in the midfield, we have 5, but only 4 are truly midfielders, which is there. So we have 4. The coach knew Hayden was going to be there. So then we have 3. The coach knew Bobby Reed was injured. So then we have 2. But you need 3 midfielders. So if we only had 2 and you need 3, that means we're short. Now, obviously, they put Gray in the midfield to play the 10. But it shows you right away. So let me try to be civil. Let me try to be nice. Let me try not to lose my mind. Only a goddamn idiot would go to the game with the midfield that we have, with the numbers that we have. Oh, was that too loud or too crass or too harsh? Only a moron would go to the game with that. Today is beating things, people. We're not on a nice thing today. Only somebody who lacked basic intelligence would go to a tournament with only 2 midfielders, basically. Two midfielders. 2 midfielders, people, would go to a tournament with. 2. You think about it, and we need at least 3. Because even if you play 4 class and play a back 3, you still only would have only have the 2 midfielders. So if one get injured, what happens? We had no 6. Like, this is crazy. I'm telling you, people, my phone blew up this morning. Got called from people I didn't expect to get called from. And they're hurting big time, people. They're hurting big time. They don't understand the illogic of it. I've said this from day one, people. Hey, people, if you follow my channel, I've been saying it from day one. Go get a Spanish coach, a young coach, an innovative coach, a coach that has the football acumen to help you progress the football in Jamaica. You go get a recycled coach. And that's what happened. So just the construct of the squad was flawed. And then we had something else, people, which I'm very surprised about. I'm surprised Bell and Antonio was in the squad. Not for them being committed and want to be here, but I think Bell doesn't have a contract, Antonio doesn't have a contract. And I said this yesterday, why would they be here? Why wouldn't you be out there seeking contracts? People, they have agents. And here's the problem with that, people. Because you guys sometimes don't look like you don't think. If they get injured playing for Jamaica and they're looking for a contract, you think some team is going to pick them up? All you guys going to do is do like City did with De Bruyne and City did with Kyle Walker. You're just going to move on. And then they're stuck. Them and their families are stuck. Unless they're playing to show people that they can play and people want people to view them, that's a different story. But if they get injured, what happens? Unless they bought some really good insurance. So the logic escapes me when it comes to them playing or wanting to play. I know they will get beaten from Jamaicans about they're not committed and therefore just what we don't like the diaspora players. The player, the individual player comes first. Them and their family has to feed themselves. They have to feed them family. I don't care how much money they made in the past. They still want to have a career. Why they would come and play is beyond me and beyond, frankly, common sense. Right? But they come. We appreciate them because one does start and one is coming back from a really horrendous injury. So when we're hearing things about Hayden and Hayden this and Hayden that, I'm going to shut up on the Hayden thing, except to say it's really interesting how that works out. When I see the Bobby Reed, who had a knee injury, and I was told by somebody in the JFF, I'm not going to say who, way back when, that Bobby Reed would not be this because he has a knee injury, he won't recover in time. All of a sudden, see Bobby Reed on the roster. We have 60 people, 60% to CONCACAF. And we don't have a backup CDM. And we don't have more than 2 midfielders. When we speak actually in these forums, and I'm told how toxic YouTubers are, we are, and how we denigrate and belittle and disparage and say things which are inappropriate. I get all these things about YouTubers. And we can be emotive and we can say things sometimes which we sometimes need to retract and revisit. But I think YouTubers have the right perspective, the right mindset, and want the best for the national team. I think they do. Most of them that I engage. Right? Most of them when I engage, they want the best for the national team. I'm not sure everybody else does. McLaren came to us, and I've said this before. McLaren came to us doing a part-time job. McLaren is a recycled, failed coach. Now, I'm going to get beaten for this, but it's a fact. Recycled, failed coach who came to us and not doing his job. As soon as the game done, he run Ghana yard. When we need somebody to come in, you know what? The Reggae Boyz coach in Jamaica all the time. I know he hasn't been to the US. I know that have you worked out, but he's in Jamaica all the time. He's calling players overseas. He's trying to recruit. He's looking at what's on the ground. He's trying to help build the program. McLaren ain't doing that. Picking up a paycheck and go back in the yard. And then making these decisions, which are unbelievable. I press away. I said, Presser, beat me though. No, Presser, because Presser, I wait till I have evidence in the Presser. You jump ahead, Presser. You jump ahead. I wait till I have evidence. I wait till I have evidence to substantiate my position. Dr. Dan is a good point, right? We have got rid of about 4 or 5 that, so we won't go through that again. But I'll say this, which is McLaren was never the coach, should not have been the coach. I said this from day one. No, Presser, I've been saying this, Presser. I'm the one who had a discussion with way back when saying we should get a Spanish coach. I'm the one who pushed for a coach with ball possession. McLaren come in, say he plays ball possession, he has a system. We haven't seen no system yet. When they ask what system he plays, he says system is flexible. I don't even know what that means. Game system can't change shirt 24/7. It's amazing, actually. So as I sit and think about what transpired yesterday, we shouldn't be surprised. The midfield was non-existent. The defense had a couple lapses, which cost us in one of those situations. And the forward line was lacking. But let me say this. McLaren's not the only person to get beaten. Let me drink some water, people. This is going to be a 2-hour run. 2 hours. Can't even pronounce no H. 2-hour runs. Let me drink some water and warm up. Let me say this, people. Those of you in Jamaica, coming to Jamaica now, calling for balance. One on name, Oral Tracy. One on name, I'm going to call it JFF. I don't know why I'm balanced on the team. Balance. Yesterday, we had 6 local developed players and 5 diaspora players in the team. You wanted balance, you got balance. You got the balance you say you wanted, right? How did the balance work for you? And the coach keep on dismissing the ballers. The coach, hey coach, aren't you tired of telling us how strong and aggressive we are and how technical and aggressive the South Americans are? So here's the question, people. If you have 2 attributes of a footballer, you have one who is strong, then play American football, because they're strong, and they're very aggressive. That's American football, I know. Because sometimes the people play on the lines, the people say no sense. So you're strong and you're aggressive, right? Versus, I am technical. That means I know the intricacies of what I'm doing. I'm versed in my craft, and I'm also aggressive. Who do you think will win? Who do you think will win, people? One is aggressive and strong. I'm supposedly fast, but I'm faster than anybody else. Because I'm a footballer and I run track and field. And one is technical and aggressive. Who do you think will win? Right? So we got the balance we're looking for, or the unbalance we were looking for, because the balance is not about meritocracy and technicality and ability, no. The balance is about who born where. So now get the balance. Maverick, me I call you get the balance you want, Maverick. It's on TV, just about balance. You want balance. Moron. You get the balance you're looking for. You want balance, you get balance. The coach told us that now CONCACAF has good coaches and the competition is closer. And he didn't know CONCACAF was so tough. Because you haven't done any work. It's like going to take an exam, people, and you didn't go study for the test. And all of a sudden your eyes then wide open like you're a madman because you don't know what transpired. You didn't study for the test, so you expect to do good. You came to the Caribbean, you did no homework, you were given the job without doing any work, or you worked with the JFF during COVID. You were given the job, you didn't do anything to get the job. You didn't show anybody during an interview that you possess the knowledge of CONCACAF or the players. You don't know the players. You don't know the players. You don't know the players. But unfortunately, you don't know the players. Good evening. Who am I speaking to? No, somebody called me by mistake, people. I don't know who that was. You don't know the players. You do not know the players. If you knew them, you would make the mistakes that you're making. So the midfield was at the buckle. The defense had some lapses. The defense wasn't terrible, but we gave up 3 chances and they scored 1. Even that one was a ball ricocheting and bouncing. They missed chances. And then we created little or nothing. And by the way, I heard a debate this morning on another program about whether or not Pinnock got a chance. Pinnock got a chance. Let's not play no game thing about, it was no chance. A player was on him. No. In England, you expect to bury those headers. He got a chance. But we're not blaming Pinnock. My defender. His primary job is not necessarily to score goals. It's to defend. Right? Cranky, grade the coach from 1 to 10. He has been hired 1 year now. All day long, grade the coach. What grade? We are talking about order load. We're the coach. Where's Andre come? Andre, I'm on the program, so call the other phone if you want to talk. Andre, can you hear me? Andre, I'm on live. Hello? Andre, I want to talk. I don't know what the story is. Maybe you can't hear me. Got on my same head still, I hurt him. I blame the existing coaching staff. No. I'm sorry, guys. Guys, stop punting. Steve McLaren is the coach for the national team. How you guys would like to go to school and your teacher didn't prepare to teach a class, but they want to get paid? That doesn't make any sense, people. Huh? You go to school, your teacher didn't prepare for the class, but they want to teach you. Like, how does that work? The coach doesn't know his team. The coach has no system. He has no formation. He's clueless. Clueless. And it's very obvious he's clueless. Go watch the team and how they play. Watch his instructions. They're in instructions. On the bench looking like a deer in headlights. You know, fans should be disappointed in everybody. The JFF, the players, the coach. Because I was coming up with these, what I thought were brilliant ideas, you know, why JFF print money between now and the qualifiers. I don't know. This momentum has been broken significantly. All right? Momentum has been broken. And I told people yesterday, somebody pushed back on me and I said it again. Guatemala played a game. They didn't play their best team. They realized that, you know what, we can't overcome Jamaica. We versus our players, made them feel good and feel good about us. And they were the better team. How anybody, people say, well, who do we have to play there? We have sixes we could bring in. We'd have a great number 6. Brandon Cover could be an example. Bringing in McCullough, bringing in, what's his name, from Charlton. You didn't bring them in before. Why wouldn't they be here? People, I showed you again. We had 2 midfielders out the entire squad that would be available to play. Are you out of your goddamn mind? Like, really? Who does that? Who does that, people? You're picking a team. I don't think people are realizing what actually transpired, Where's the coaching staff? Like, who's surrounding McLaren? Now, he may be clueless and maybe past his prime, but who's surrounding him? Who's helping him? Like, seriously, people. Players we have in the midfield. I think they know Aiden was going to be here. So, you wait, people, tell something. You have 5 midfielders. This is very funny. Let's go through it, because this is important. That's why we lost the game, a lot of the game. They control the middle of the park. By the way, the forward line didn't exist. We're going to go through the forward line. Let's start. You know what? Rewind. We'll start over. We'll go through each of the positions. Let's go with keeper. Andre Blake does what Andre Blake does. Try to save our butt every single game. And he couldn't save us yesterday, but he played a very good game and probably was our best player. Couldn't save the goal, made a brilliant save on the header, did what Andre Blake does. Right? If I go to right back, Lati was doing decent until he got moved second half. Lembakisi came in, probably had one of his better half in the game. Was trying to be one of our most effective players, trying to go forward, trying to beat his man. Well enough, based on how we played. If we go to center half, King didn't in terrible. King played okay. Lowe went there, played okay at center half. I'll get to Lowe. Pinnock did okay, but Pinnock is getting slow and slow every year. Right? He made some brilliant long passes out to Cephas and over the wing to Bailey. I think and Bell, he got manhandled a few times, but in general, defense did okay. We gave up 1 goal, probably could have given up 3, to be honest. But I thought the back 4, back 5 did okay, with Blake being the best of the bunch to me. Or the back 6 did okay, because King got taken off. King got sacrificed. If we go in the midfield, Jonathan Russell, I have no idea what you were doing. I have no idea where you are. I know you had no instructions. I know the coach didn't realize that you can't be bombing forward when the midfield has been dominated, and you should have dropped back more and played like a double pivot or played closer to whoever was playing CDM. Did we have any CDM? We didn't have no CDM. By the way, we started the game with no CDM. So Jonathan Russell didn't have a good game, didn't play well, wasn't present, just like he wasn't present when we played Trinidad. To me, Trinidad overrun into the middle in the Unity Cup. People didn't really see that. They only saw the 3-2 victory. So then we had Damian Lowe playing CDM. No, you know what? I want to go to Damian then. We had Gray playing the 10. Now, Gray played the 10 like he's playing wing a lot of times. He doesn't really play a true 10. He played the 10 like how Odegaard played the 10, except that's a strategy by Arsenal. That's not a strategy by Jamaica. And he played the 10 in that little pocket on the left side. He doesn't come deep enough. He's not ever present in the middle. He's not there taking pressure off. He doesn't play any defense. I don't know. I support him being in the 10 if they want to get him on the field. But he's learning his craft and he's not there. Damian Lowe wasn't playing the 10. Damian Lowe was chasing the ball. You don't play CDM by chasing the ball. Anywhere the ball goes, like you're in a schoolyard, you're trying to find the ball. You know when you're in the schoolyard before you throw the ball out and all the kids running on the ball? That's how Damian played the 6. Damian was poor against BVI as the 6, and we put Damian back on the field as the 6. Damian is a center half. He's not a 6. When Damian will go in and win the ball, but when he win the ball, he doesn't know what to do with the ball. He doesn't know what to do with it. That's not beating Damian. I like Damian as a player, but that's not where Damian's supposed to play. And the coach had zero clue. Damian should have been changed, either move back to center half or change in the first 10 minutes of the game. He made a tackle, which probably was a red card in most leagues. He went over the ball. He went over the top. The intent was dangerous. The player jumped. If he didn't jump, he may still be laying down the field. Right? So Damian Lowe should never be in the CDM. Now, we shouldn't blame Damian Lowe for the loss. That was Damian Lowe. But Damian Lowe didn't put himself as CDM. Somebody else did, unless he's the one controlling the field. All right? The coach put him there. Damian put himself there. And then we go to the forward line. Now, you hear me talk about Cephas, and boy, almost every game, my mind changed from Cephas. Cephas have me like a tumbleweed. I'll go back and forth. Yesterday, he got the ball. Everybody gets. He act like he's shielding, like he's a NFL lineman. He stop the ball. He must shield the ball. The ref not calling it. He's getting dispossessed, and he doesn't change his game. His game is one-dimensional. He's a sprinter. He's not a footballer. Now, I like Cephas. Don't get me wrong, but he's a footballer. He's a sprinter. He's not a footballer. He doesn't set up his man. He doesn't know how to play. He can't play inside at all. He can only play outside. And he was poor. Brown didn't get out of service, so it's hard to judge him. But when he did get some service, he wasn't holding up the ball well either. And we had nobody on the right side of the field. There was somebody out there, but there's nobody out there. I couldn't see the person well because they were always on the ground, falling down. So when I'm trying to look up in my screen, maybe my head was too low. I couldn't see the person. But I know somebody was out there. I think we had a right winger, but I couldn't see him. Because I think the right winger was playing like he plays every game. Every game, that right winger played the same way. Then we made changes, right? We made changes. We brought on Palmer, who was awful. Palmer came in, wanted to do the game by himself, dribbling like a madman. Don't know what he's doing, running into alleys, running into dead end, trying to play some football. He's trying to prove that he should be on the field and prove that he can do something, and he was doing a damn thing. Just running around like a madman, chicken without a head, like first time he's playing football. And he's a seasoned footballer. Poor. I think the one change though, and then we put Lowe at center half, second half, and Lati in the midfield. I'm a Lati fan. Lati calmed the game down at midfield now. Lati at the 6 is miles better than 6. But I thought they should start at Russell at the 6, play Palmer in the 8, and play Gray in the 10 if you're going to do it that way. I thought Lati should be at right back. But Lati came in, calmed the game down. It was a better second half performance in the midfield. But it's all discombobulated and all mixed up. And then we made a change, which there are people in England asking about this, people. I'm telling you, it's been happening for a while now. And now we're going to hear more of it. And people at Charlton are asking this. I'm going to say it. You shouldn't say anything. I'm going to say it. People at Charlton want to understand. Here's what Charlton is asking people. How is it that they have 2 players in their organization? One is a perennial starter who helped them get to the championship. The other one is on the under 21 team, barely gets there. And that player plays over the regular starter. Now, what I've been told is that, well, you can't do that analogy and comparative because the person who doesn't start, he's more familiar with CONCACAF and playing the national team, and therefore that's why it is. When you guys are making up crap or making up stuff to appease yourself and feel good about yourself and your balanced squad, don't come to me with that bullshit. I'm not hearing it. It's part of the whole quota system. And it's part of the whole local system. And it's what's going to kill the football. Because you're not picking the team based on meritocracy. You're picking the team based on the whole concept of we have to get local players in the team. I like Dixon. I like Cephas. I like Brown. But when they're not playing well, I'm sorry. In fact, some of them shouldn't start at all. And then the right winger we have, I think plays about 37 games now for Jamaica. I think if my count is right. And his goal contribution is 4 from open field in 37. Don't count the 2 penalties. So that means he give us a goal every 9 games, and he's a Premier League player. And much of you talk about crank, you don't like the person. So when I beat somebody who's diaspora, no say nothing. Because somehow no, I saw no steer. But if I beat somebody who's not diaspora and who has been poor for the national team, I'm going to lose in the mind. It's amazing how that works. What's utter rubbish, Michael Thomas? Because I'm already fooling him. Michael Thomas, please elaborate and explain yourself. Because I know me want to talk, Michael Thomas. Come, Michael Thomas, bring it. I'm ready for you. Bring it, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas, you made a comment. Bring it. I told them why you were come talk to me. Bring it, Michael Thomas. Bring it. As El Meek says, there are levels, people. Levels to the football. The coach keep telling us the footballers developed in Jamaica, most of them are not at the right level. He keep telling you in so many different ways. It's crazy. I know nothing about football, even though he's been in football for about 40 years. To me, know nothing about football. Let me say this, and I say this to somebody today. If Jamaica makes the World Cup, it's in spite of the coach, not because of the coach. Repeat that. If Jamaica makes the World Cup, or when Jamaica makes the World Cup, I think we will, it's despite the coach, not because of the coach. In spite of the coach, not because the coach bring us there. And if you go and those of you who are going to these forums, first of all, nobody in JFF Live should be given all that access and then go to the press conference and asking questions. Because you're planting questions to make the coach look good. Sorry, we're not trying that. The whole objective is to have transparency in those press conferences. When we go to the press conference, it's so frustrating, people just listening to the nonsense, listening to the garbage. We go to press conferences. Now, I know some of the overseas people are going to ask these nice throwaway questions. That's all good. But us as fans want real answers. For example, we want to know, why is the midfield so lacking? Why you have so much dirt of players in the midfield? Why would you have more people in the midfield? Why wouldn't Brandon Cover be something that come? Why wouldn't K. Roy be somebody you brought, since you're going to bring him now after the fact? So here's the thing, people. We lost Hayden, one midfielder. We're bringing McCullough and K. Roy, 2 midfielders. Let me repeat that, because this is how asinine this is. Hayden left, so he's 1 midfielder, right? He's not there. They probably knew he was going to be there. And we're bringing in 2 midfielders. Doesn't that tell you something? And we look at the numbers. Does the numbers make any sense? I don't know why we love the football so much. Something must be wrong with us, because we love to glutton for punishment. Cranky, why so confident we'll make it? I'm not as confident as you, because 3 games with bad decisions we could be. I am maybe yes, in fact confident because I am aware that we're gonna get some reinforcements. And by the way, people, let me say this. It's my understanding there is no MOU between the JFF and PICA. There needs to be one. PICA, you need to get out your feelings. JFF, you need to do better. JFF is in a dilemma, people. I understand the dilemma. JFF aspirationally want local players in the national team. Aspirationally, that's the right thing to think, because your JFF, you run Jamaica football program, the kids on the island aspire to play for the national team. We all understand that. But we haven't done the best job of developing those kids. And so you have to figure out a way to satisfy 2 situations. One is, how do I get kids to the right level and get them to the national team? But also, how do I put the best team on the field? Right? That's very difficult to do, but you have to work through these situations, even though they may seem to be contradictory. You have to work through it. But JFF first have to work with PICA to enable us to expeditiously bring players on board, because the process is extremely slow and it's not helping anybody. I don't think the JFF, I'm gonna say this, and the JFF may not like me saying this, I don't think the JFF really cared about if we bring players on board or not. To be honest, I don't think they did. They may want to do that now, because realizing that, you know what? This dream may be slipping away. When last have we struggled in our first game in CONCACAF? There's a great possibility we will not make the second round, which is awful. No. The good players going just play football and not worry about the coach. Kind of good. All right? Coach just not good. Nah, me not like. I know Presser gonna beat me because Presser been saying it, but Presser, you and I deliver it a little bit different, Presser. That's why. The coach is just not what we need. Let's be honest. The coach has been clueless in here. And it's not because the coach is just clueless, you know. Because here's the thing, people. If you're in school, if you have a job, and you don't do what's necessary to do the job well, of course you're going to fail. Right? Of course you're going to fail. From day one, we've been saying this. The coach come, as soon as the game done, him gone in yard. He goes home, right? He doesn't stick around. He can't wait to get off the island. Want to go back to Ibiza or wherever it is he go for vacation. He's working part-time. Even though and I don't know why. I know the JFF can't really fire him because we can't afford those money. We can't afford to pay him what we're paying, between $300,000 and $500,000 a year. But we don't pay local coaches, by the way, when they run the national team. I bet Tapa wasn't getting 25% of that. Right? I understand that. But if he breaks the contract, to me, if the contract says he needs to be here and he's not here, he's broken the contract. You can take him to court. You fire him, don't lose anything. I repeat that. If we fire McLaren now, we don't lose anything. McLaren has not been good. Seriously. McLaren has not been good. If you fire him down, JFF, go read his contract. If he's supposed to be on the island and he's not there, that's a breach. It's valid, that clause in the contract. It's a fireable offense. And make sure you document you asked him to stay and he didn't. So you know you have evidence to substantiate that he's broken the contract. They fire him. If you fire him now, it don't make a difference, because that players them all win us. He's not gonna win nothing. Man don't know, I have no idea what he's doing. You will not lose anything by firing him now. Seriously. People say he's late in the game, but he ain't added no value. We see him on the bench. We see him in the press conferences. It's beyond frustration. Yeah, and then he keeps people. Here's what's really bad, people. So the coach keeps saying the players are aggressive and strong, but then he keeps picking them even though he think they're not technical enough. Good afternoon, One Love. How are you doing?
Well, thank you. Yeah, man.
What you have to say, One Love?
Thank you. So you really see next day. Of course, that's next coach contract and coach to do that. No, man. Don't make it don't feel so little bit. Don't feel less than what them there play all week.
My understanding that he was getting paid a little bit less, but it's not.
The man, man. It's a part-time job, so we're not paid this much. So yes, that's what it is, Francis. Yeah, that's straight. It's clueless, man. It's then a fourth quarter. The man has no game management. The man can't make a team in a game. Never see man make a team in a game. The man just make a walk to the ball and tweak it himself and come to. That's it. The man clueless. I can't believe that the man was at Manchester United.
Yeah, well, I don't know what he was doing there, but he sure is not showing it. I think he retired. I think it's a retirement job. It's a retirement job. Seriously, it's a retirement job.
It's a retirement job, man. I mean, disrespect of Alfred. Big disrespect. And I went, no. I wait no for the Guatemala game in Jamaica, man. So Tanga never get disappointed. I would have been so mad. Left all the way from Canada and got Jamaica.
Yeah, you know what? Having one love. What?
Go ahead.
No, what I'm gonna say is this: is that the Guatemala game in Jamaica, even though Guatemala didn't play the best team, let's be frank about that, because yesterday's team was a total different team.
Exactly.
Total different game, right?
It was the B team. Yeah, it was the B team.
Yeah, it's the B team. And but about the game though is this: is that we left the game, because you went to the game, I went to the game. We left the game with a sense of euphoria. We felt good.
Yeah.
We felt we had momentum going into the September. We go to the Gold Cup and do really well. We're going to try to win the Gold Cup. We were that flawed in our thinking, to be honest. And then we go play. Then we hear Hayden wasn't there, and we all have a little bit of meltdown because we realize how important Hayden is to the team and what he brings to the team, even though he got beaten when he first joined. But he has actually recovered his reputation. Yeah.
Exactly. If it's mind blowing, you see. I'm like, in 30 minutes, I'm like, oh my God, they nullify CFAS. The coach gonna make the change. Put on Campbell now. He's gonna put on Campbell for CFAS. Holy crap. CFAS played for almost 80 minutes.
Yeah, CFAS was poor. But it's not just the forward line, because the service wasn't great either.
Exactly. No, they nullify it. That's a ball. You have to pass them back. They nullify it.
Yep.
The team is set up to fail. The way the course of the team is to fail.
Yeah.
We can't blame Damian Lowe. He never put himself there. The coach put him there. Oh my God. Boy, it was a disaster, man.
It was. It's not encouraging.
Yeah.
It's not encouraging.
I sorry Miguel Cole never get the job, man, because this is a disaster, man. This coach, man, he's on vacation, man. He's on vacation, coach, man.
Well, I don't think he's going to come back from vacation. I think his vacation is a permanent one. I don't think he's going to come back. I don't think he's going to come off vacation. I think he's going to be on vacation for the entirety of this whole process.
Exactly. I know he's not going to come off a vacation.
Nah, he's not. It's not good. It's not good, one love. But you and I got to ride through this, so we'll see what happens.
Come back up stay with.
Huh?
Can't come back to stay with Paul. He can't come.
Nah, Paul Hall will not be retired. Paul Hall is dead to Jamaica football. Trust me. There's no Paul Hall coming back.
They have been confused with JFF, yeah.
Yeah, Paul Hall is gone. Paul Hall is gone for good. He's not coming back. That's not happening. So we shouldn't consider any other recycled coaches. They're gone. No Paul Hall, no Whitmore. They're not coming back. This coach they're gonna ride this coach until, well, we're gonna make World Cup, so he's gonna look good, but it's not because of him.
Much politics in this side, man. The side was doomed from the squad team.
Yeah. Yeah, look, people.
So much.
Go ahead, one more.
Forward. Our four midfield. Or if you go 4 midfield and 9 forward. What kind of madness is that?
Yeah. Yep.
9 defender. 4 midfield, 9 forward, and 9 defenders. What kind of madness is that?
Yeah, but they pick it. We saw it. And they say YouTubers don't know football. I don't understand that.
I know.
All right, one love. Appreciate the call, sir.
We're the best coach.
Yeah.
Best Reggae Boyz coach. YouTuber is the best Reggae Boyz coach.
I don't know about that, but we ain't worse than the people making decisions. That's for sure.
Not just big, because they take it totally. Just me. I think it seems like we know more than the coach.
No, well, you know what? We actually yeah.
Somebody really see the coach and tie. It's just about way. I don't know, man. See that the coach and tie, and you have to just take orders and
No. The coach hands are not tied. The coach hands are not tied. The coach hands are not tied. No, they're not tied. They're not tied. They're not tight.
Sure about that?
Well, you can't be 100% sure, but it's my understanding the coach contractually can pick his own team. That's my understanding. That's my understanding. The coach can pick his own team. So it's not like sometimes we know historically where the coach couldn't pick his own team and he's influenced or told to pick who to pick. I understand this coach asked for it, got it, and so he picked his own team. Even though you do wonder sometimes about that.
Yeah, exactly. You gotta wonder when it's the person that he picked. You have to really wonder sometimes. So sometimes it's like a smoke screen, but it seems like they, you know?
Yeah.
The small team, but he doesn't pick the players. And they really look at who gives the grand team or two.
Yep. Appears that way. All right. Yeah, man, one love. Thanks for the call. Yeah. All right. So people, this view is my understanding. And look, I don't have any evidence to this. I haven't seen his contract, but it's my understanding the coach pick his team of his own volition. That means of his own will. He's able to pick who he wants to. Now, people will always give you advice, right? You're always going to get advice. So you will take advice from your assistant coaches. You'll take advice from the people around you. But it's my understanding that he makes the final decision on the players. Yeah, the coach have to deal with politics. It's part of the whole equation. Every coach in every national team probably deal with some kind of politics. I think in a lot of instances, depends on the country. Some coaches are influenced about who they pick, and some coaches have the ability to pick who they want to pick. Right? That's how it normally is. That's how life is in general. You get advice, or you get mandates, or you're forced to do certain things, or you get fired. It's my understanding, though, that he has the ability to pick his own team. Now, you do wonder how certain players are in the team. You do. And how some players are not. So Brandon Cover, for example, my understanding is that Brandon Cover played well in training when they were at the Unity Cup. He didn't get 1 minute, and he wasn't brought in as cover. Right? Was he in the six? I don't remember him being in the 60-man squad. So that to me is like weird. Doesn't make any sense. Right? Doesn't make any sense to me. The decision making is just mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Seriously. I don't know how you recover from that defeat from Guatemala. It's hard to recover. It's hard to pick yourself up from a game in which you got outplayed by an inferior team. At least on paper, anyway. Ola said, Crank, you don't know that your guys bitching and moaning fail to acknowledge the issues are multifaceted. So MF, who said they were multifaceted, MF? And you guys bitching and moaning, that's a very derogatory term to use, MF. And you know what MF means, right? I'll say no more. Big deal, so we're not coming out of this group. Nah, we're going to make it the World Cup. You know what you should bet me some money, so we're not going to the World Cup. I'll take all the bets. I'm saying we're going to make the World Cup. You guys can bet the other side. I'll take those bets. Yeah, the local player thing is becoming an issue about the whole balance thing. People, if you want balance, go on the balance beam, go balance. If you want balance, people, go balance yourself, no man. Go up on wall and put your hand out to balance yourself. We don't know balance thing. The balance you should have is between the midfield, forward, and defenders. We should have a balance of the number of players. That's unbalanced. Right? The balance we have, we don't have. We're supposed to have balance, we don't have balance. We had 4 midfielders, 9 forwards, 9 defenders. We had as much goalkeeper. We had more goalkeepers than we had. This is not a joke. We had more goalkeepers than we had midfielders. That's amazing. Amazing, people. Look, I can't guarantee we're going to get to the World Cup. Nobody can guarantee this. Things happen. But the players coming, somebody JFF told me it's going to be 2 players. My understanding is it's like a whole team. The coach has to make some tough decision. The coach have to realize that some players he's relying upon, they're unreliable. Let me repeat that. The coach has to realize some of the players he's relying upon, for a while. And if he keeps relying upon them, they're going to, whatever little legacy you have left, they're going to destroy it. We're not getting any midfielders. That's the problem of people. Here's what you guys don't realize. Whether it's diaspora or local, we're not producing midfielders. You go tell me how many midfielders of Jamaican descent do you know in the English Premier League who we have access to. All the good ones are taken. And there are few of them. The Marcus Rogers of the world, who can play the 10, taken. Ramsey, can't get him. Matt Neal, who can play 8 or whatever, wing, can't get him. The one we got, who almost beat him out of the team, Hayden, was the only really true 6 we had to play at Premier League level for a long time. And he's showing his wear. And he showed what he's done in the team. We're unbalanced. There's not a lot of midfielders out there, people. I'm telling you. You go to the midfielder. People talk about Smith Rowe. He's cap-tied. You can't find no midfielders. Baker is not a Premier League midfielder. I don't think Baker is coming either. Yeah, Baker was on the list of people, but I don't think Baker is coming. And Baker is not the savior either. We don't have any midfielders in the Premier League who we can bring in to help save us. We just don't. We have to go with what we have. Or try to convert somebody. I don't know who. Got to look through the team and see who may have the ability of an Iwobi or Joey Linton that we put in the midfield and can be a stable. Because right now, it's lacking. Maybe one of those defenders we're going to bring in can translate over to midfield. Who knows? No, I think we should have passed that, actually. The problem with the whole capping thing on the young players is the JFF issue. I'm going to blame that on JFF. If the JFF had a comprehensive recruiting program, had put together an MOU with PICA, and was really interested in bringing local players over, they'd be here. The JFF is not supportive. The JFF is struggling with this concept. So let me just say this, because we had this discussion way back when I was on I Am Sure Sports and on Minz's channel. We had this discussion way back when. Here was the discussion. The people who let the JFF were the parish presidents. They want local players in the team. Right. We understand that. Right? Everybody should want that. But if the JFF don't pick those local players and bring them in, then they're going to vote them out. So then JFF is in a bind. Right? It's a catch-22. We had this discussion way back when we were having the election for the JFF. The JFF to be elected, and we run against Raymond. This whole concept and this whole idea came aboard. So then you have this back and forth between, if the JFF decide to go in that direction, they may not have a job. You ain't going to vote yourself out of a job. So the conversion need to be, or the change need to be, everybody need to understand there's a larger national interest than my own interests. You have to make some sacrifice. You need to have a 3 to 5 year window where you're saying, you know what? I'm just going to go out and recruit the best players for my national team. In the meantime, my hope is that those players will help me generate the resources to invest in the football. You hear McLaren, which is one thing he said, which I agree with. You need better coaching. At some point, the JPL players may not catch up to those players, but get much closer in terms of ability and how they play. Now, I don't think the JFF is going all out to recruit players as they should. They have somebody in England who's involved in the process. But if they think about the whole comprehensive recruiting construct and how that works, it's not in place. The way they should to recruit the best players, convince them. Do like how the US do. Go on your knee and beg them to come play for you, because what some countries are doing. Trail them for years and years. Nurture them. I'm going to tell you something. Hayden. So Devon Porter doesn't get a lot of credit for recruiting, but Devon is out there going in people's DM, talking to them 24/7. Devon, and I think Ketterock was involved in this too, was chasing Hayden for 4 or 5 years. When Hayden had his knee injury, Devon was reaching out to him as a father figure would and encouraging him. Trying to see if he can get better. Even when he said what he said about playing for England, Devon wasn't dissuaded. Devon didn't say, you know what, go, you're not good. We don't spend so much time on you. Devon was being a father figure. But Devon doesn't get the credit that he, I use the word beg umzo. That's what a lot of people do with talent. They beg them. You can call it what you want. They besiege them. They ask them really well. They beg them. You go look at Balogun in the US, because you guys don't seem to know this, because it's below you. You don't understand what that means in terms of trying to get talent. If you want the best trader, you want the best portfolio manager, you whine, you dine, you probably beg them to come work for you. You guys wouldn't understand that. So if you don't understand that, I can't deal with you. That's what people do when they want the best talent. Right? That's what they do. They go out and do whatever they can in their repertoire to bring that talent on board. You hear that a while ago, they were talking about some portfolio manager in hedge funds. They paid him $100 million to join them, like how your football make. And they wine and dine them and besiege them to come on board because they believe they're going to make them that much money. You guys don't seem to understand that. So then you guys lose your mind because somebody say beg. Yes, they beg them. They want to bring them on board. They woo them. We have this. We don't do that. We don't, and it's below some people to even consider operating that way. That's what people do for the best talent. You think Arteta wanting Sesko or Gokares is not out there talking to them 24/7 to bring them on board, telling them what he can do for them, how he can change their game, what the flaws he sees in their game, how the game can improve? That's what people do to bring in the best talent. And we're in no position. We have this mindset as if we are the God's gift to the world. We're in no position over 100 and something. What are we talking about? Come play for we. When them can go on Albies, I go watch them go on concert and come lose. I don't know what we're talking about. But let's go back to the point. But the JFF has to do better. If the JFF want to really move the program forward, they have to invest in the diaspora, because then the diaspora will invest in them. Look when the JFF went to England at the Unity Cup and how they were well received and how they were supported. Yeah, Nitro. I mean, they had a Jamaican that was a European champion, didn't they, Nitro? What did he run? 100 meters? Countries do that because countries realize the benefits and the branding they can get from doing well in things that are well publicized, right? They realize it. What are you talking about? And who is this MF person? What are you talking about? I'm ducking your call. I don't duck nobody call. You know what you're talking about? Call back. I don't duck nobody call. Actually, my phone was on silent. All right. Good evening. Good afternoon. Who is this? Hello?
Yeah, my name is Colin. It was one analytical one for the year last night.
Okay. You sound low, Colin. I'm not sure. Wait 1 second. You sound low though. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so someone kind of chill out it. Because even though I'm not like the full 100 of changes and stuff, kind of understand to a good 87% of what he was trying to do.
Okay.
Watching other players and who and gel with other players and doing players who have that connection with each other.
Well, who's trying to go? What the coach was trying to do?
That's my understanding. Based upon the game last night and Kingston.
Right.
Even from the Unity Cup.
Okay.
The different players, because everyone kind of happy about the Unity Cup and how they were playing and they moved the ball, throw properly, and things like that. When it comes to the BVI game, may clearly say because the field wasn't up to standard. It was like the player them tentative. They never even put 45% in their effort, in my opinion. Come to last night now, based upon what I saw, is that the connection of the players, then just never did it. I mean, evidently, the midfield is like, they don't have a clue when Palmer are there. They think Palmer not do the simple things better, but him are the more experienced members in a midfield. In terms of who can convert to a midfielder, I think like Demari Gray. If you put him on a board, I don't know if you have 21 years, you kind of make the idea cement in our head, say, him not only need to dribble and shoot, but him have a vision to see the passes in the line. move it in a way where you play 1-2, sweep the ball around the D. If the pass is not there or the kick is not there, just keep it in another line there. I mean, I said that in the sense where you ever see when City, the Man City, and keep possession in a people and press them, keep the possession when and hold it until when that opening is there. That's one of the little 2 cents on the do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Look, I mean, when you watch the game last night and you see the intricacies and the interchange between the Guatemalan team, especially in the midfield, and you look at how we played, we were lost in the first half. We got better in the second half when Latin came in the sixth, and we had more possession. But then they dropped deeper because they were very tactical in their approach, you know. They would pressure us sometime, and then they would back off. They had selected time when they pressure us. They look when Blake get the ball, they know Blake is not a good ball handler. They want to pressure Blake. So you can see they were well coached for this game. We weren't.
And understandably so, you know, because when you look at that curve that you mentioned, is that the strategic thing about how Jamaica would want to play. And I think it kind of one-dimensional in that then keep it the 2 second between the back line, and then when they play the inverted kind of wing back, is that they when a lot of people come inside as the central defender can make the pass to the that's into the one tactic them have to use. So the other dimension to that I think can kill team. When they can use like a Reggae inside of that team, play the ball to keep that through and then make that diagonal pass to see if us or Bailey.
Right.
It can kill that defense. But I always know about diagonal ball that defenders don't like. So just play the ball straight out to Bailey and expect Bailey. If you notice, every time Bailey and Cephas get the ball, don't have 3 people around him. You have to, both of them, both sides.
Not all the time. I saw ping ball to Bailey, ping ball to Cephas. They have 1-on-1. If you stop the ball and stop the play, you're going to get double or triple team, right? If I give you the ball, a double team, you just give me back the ball now and move. Then the defense have to reset. Don't hold on for the ball and sit down on the ball and then you get double and triple team, you turn the ball over. That's what we're doing sometimes. Don't disagree that double team and triple team does occur. But if that occurs and we're moving, then somebody's open. Right? Has to be.
Yeah, and I agree with you to a large extent of what's happening. You understand? But the solution that I see is that when it comes more central around the center circle and that between the center circle and the D, that's where they need to have a little more possession so they can create that diagonal ball either wing where we're dangerous. Not just playing out directly to them, expecting them to take on the players where we know their strength.
Right.
So that's just my 2 cents on that issue.
All right, man. I appreciate the call. Thanks.
All right, yes.
All right. So people, let me say something. If you're going to call me when somebody's on the phone, I'm not going to cut them off to put you on. So you should call when you hear the line has been hung up. This is not like a radio station where you don't know what we call in blind, okay? We don't call in blind on this program. Good evening.
Hello.
Yes, who am I speaking to?
Yeah, Michael.
Michael, how are you doing?
Yes. I want to at a certain point that you're making on.
You need to turn on your thing in the background. Turn the thing in the background.
All right. So me not listen. All right.
Yeah, me can't hear myself. So I'm gonna hear myself.
Okay. Give me like. All right. You know?
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. You see, your point that you're making, Frankie, you're such on point. So now I wonder if the coaches they really watch back these games because you can't understand if they really watch back them game and they not see the mistakes that the players are making. Especially Damian Lowe. Come on now. You don't have blind man. You don't have blind man. Damian Lowe is like a midfielder. So why they keep on forcing him to play that position? And next question I want to ask is, Cranky, what solution you people can make, because I guess you don't have a voice. So, you know, when any solution can make, because honestly, the midfield, we don't have no midfield. No for one game. And you see the big difference?
Right.
The man that look like a prep school football that I play.
Well, I do think YouTubers and those in the chat actually who follow Jamaica football very closely have proposed players, some of them who have their papers who should be considered by the JFF, right? It's a continuum. And JFF knows this because they watch some of these channels. No matter what they say, they watch the channels. And I don't know if the coach watches channels. Maybe he doesn't, but he has people in his ears. So it's not only them who doing their research and their scouting and their recruiting. They have a litany of sources to inform their view about who should be considered. Now, who they consider and who they bring in and how they do it, I have no idea. Because everybody knew that we didn't have a backup six, right? The coach knows that. Yet he brought no backup six with him until now. He's going to go out and get two midfielders to be his backup six, which is asinine. And I'm sure they knew Hayden was going to be there either. So if he's not, even if you know he was not going to be there, you should have a six. But if you knew, it's heresy not to bring in at least two people to be in his position. Like, it's crazy, actually. It's like asking for trouble. It's like you're sabotaging yourself.
Exactly. And the next question I want to ask, Louis Baker, maybe you don't want to give out certain information. Him having papers? Him having passport?
Not that I know of. He doesn't.
And Brandon Cover, him having passport?
It's my understanding that he does.
So why not bring him?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I mean, it's strange, actually. Some of these decisions, they escape logic. They're not logical. They make no sense. You wonder who. And here's the thing: we beat the coach a lot, which is deservedly because he's the final decision maker. Where's his support? Don't he have what's his name? Is it Sinclair? Don't he have Gordon? Where are these people that's supporting the coach? What are they providing to the coach? How are they informing the coach's decision? How are they helping the coach? Like, how can anybody go to a tournament with two midfielders?
Crazy. You know, that's possible. And what you understand in football, the midfield is just like a car, the engine. And the engine doesn't about, so that have to be ready at all purpose. That have to fire from all cylinder. Just them about a 6-cylinder car and a 1-cylinder fire. Oh, it's right.
Yeah, and that's what's disappointing, actually.
And a 1-cylinder fire. No, the 1-cylinder stop now. See the car crash there? The car break down.
Yeah. And we're trying to bring.
And the next point is, you know, I'm a rocket scientist to tell you this. Tyrese Campbell can't on a place, eh? What the purpose of Tyrese?
I have no idea. Maybe because he has his papers. He has his papers.
Oh, so I'm just going back on vacation to them. I can't understand the man having papers in a place in Charlton Athletic on farm and stuff like that. Yes, Dixon, I ain't grown, but even on the under 21 side, in Cameron, not even the bench play the side, and you have a man who start on the side and can't play not even for 5 minutes over Dixon.
Well, it's not only Dixie, because we have two wingers. In football, normally you make changes on your forward line, right? You may change your midfield and your defense, but it's mainly your forward line. They should be running hard. You make changes. My two wingers were poor in the game. They're still on the field. My center forward got changed late, and I have a player on the field who on the bench who's very, very young, who's very, very dynamic, who adds value. Yeah.
I think in majority games, though, as a coach, if you reach the 65th minute of every game, some
I think I lost the call. I know. I think his phone died. Somebody said they called the number and it's not working. The number is working. The number working, people. I see Dr. Dan missed DJ Fit. What are you saying? Hello?
Yes, Kirky?
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good, sir. What happened in old man here?
You not hearing me well?
Yeah, sir.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, man, blessings. You did before you was talking earlier, right? You didn't finish what you was gonna say, but I think I hear you saying it while you're talking to the person just now. But just for the rest of the people in the chat or anybody else that listen, tell them who was the game changer that basically helped to change the game for Jamaica, at least in some negative, positive way.
I mean, Latif came in the midfield and the game changed, right?
Okay.
Latif came in the midfield and the game changed. It was very obvious. Latif came in the midfield. Here's the problem we have. So yes, Lowe is a defensive person. He can win the ball, but your defensive midfielder, the central defensive midfielder, have to have more attributes than just winning the ball. That can't be his or her only attribute playing football, right? There's a lot more attributes they need to have to really be the orchestrator in that position. That's why when Rodri went down for City, a perennial winner, win Champions League, when he went down, City fall apart. That's the person who orchestrates everything, defensively and offensively. It's not rocket science.
Yep. I'm just saying all of that. I'm asking the question just so you can say it, that people hear, because in the first half, when the coach see how the game panning out, he could have basically just say, yo, Lati, put it in the midfield, bring back Low to the back line. If you feel like you want to put King on the wing, fine. If not, him put that in the side. Here, I'm going to take off King and put in
Lambakisa.
He could have made the change from early, or some adjustments from early. The part that I also had a problem with him, he had clearly, we see that Russell brings more offensively when we have control of the ball or we attacking. But Russell can also rotate or be a box to box. But he had him played high the whole time. I don't even remember if Mr. Russell really dropped back more than probably one time and make a little tackle here or there. But I'm just saying, why they were playing so high? Why even Demira Gray? You could have said, yo, come back down. You see, Low cannot move around too well with the ball. So he might break up a tackle, but he don't have nowhere for the outlet. So that's why we just play the negative side to side, back and forth. And it was just, that's why we possession stats even look so well. We weren't doing nothing with the ball. It was just a poor, horrible game from us. Give thanks to Guatemala for actually doing their part, because they show up the style. You know what I think is the coach's style? The coach don't want no real midfielders in terms of angular 6. He doesn't want no true midfielder, no 10s. He really don't want no box-to-box midfielders. That's how I feel. I feel like coach has listened. They're going to take away the creativity from the wingers, and he only wants the wing forwards to be the creativity in the team. Now, what happens is, when they get double team like how they were getting last night, there is no other option. And him don't have no backup for it. That's why he's never interested in Rabel. He even wants to start Palmer. Palmer
offers little last night, but I'm just saying he doesn't want these type of players. That's the perception I'm getting, because if you have a 10 and you basically say, listen, I'm not even going to play him, in his rightful position, I'm going to make Damara Gray, who's supposed to be also the wing forward, play as a 10 when you have the actual 10 on the bench. It doesn't make no sense to me. This man was doing nothing but craziness, you understand? I just feel like, say, you know, I just want, all over the place with my reasoning, but I just want to add one more thing. You know, so for the Panama game, because the next game is Guadeloupe, but the Panama game, let's say we win the Guadeloupe game, which we should, but when we play in Panama, you know, so I feel like we would actually not start Blake in goal.
Why?
The reason why, because we know Blake deficiency is passing. Last night it can show him up again big time. I don't know if you notice it. A lot of the ball, he physically got uncomfortable and cleared him down. Instead of making that pass, there was a lot of times that the back line opening could have just get him with confidence, and you don't know, Pinnock is a good ball handler, lower around the back sometimes, so to speak. And he was just booting the ball a lot. Maybe you can check the stats and see. But a lot of them, him kick down the ball and think he looks so uncomfortable at points. Don't get me wrong, we're not taking no question about play. I'm not putting no blame towards him, but I'm just saying, because Panama are most likely going to pressure us, just like how we see Guatemala play, we're gonna need even a keeper to help take the pressure off of the players. I just feel like, say, maybe with a little bit more better, comfortable on the ball, it's gonna help that, because now we can connect the dots in terms of the passing part, which we have always try to build from the back, because that's what we play. We build from the back and we boot it down, and hopefully we wingers them get it and try to do something. But with Bailey, I just really think Bailey needs to just come off of the bench again. I think that was what was the game changer for Bailey when he played in a BVI game, come off of the bench, and him feel like, say, when him get the opportunity to start, and them say, hey, no, I'm take on my game, because when I try to bench me, I go show them, say, I'm a Bailey. Sometimes that's what you have to do. Remind him, say, listen, you're not going to be always guaranteed a starter. You understand?
Yeah, man.
And sometimes you have to just give him a wake-up call. And to be honest, I feel like the ref kind of give them Guatemala more opportunity.
The CONCACAF ref them can't. The CONCACAF ref them can't ref. Them just out there to take up space, because in CONCACAF, the man can take your jersey and tear it off of you and you get no yellow card. He can stop the breakaway, can stop the play all the time, and he gets no yellow card. It's ridiculous.
The one that I saw that was really crazy to me, you know, it was one where Bill actually a breakaway.
Yep.
And the man pull off the man's shirt.
Yep.
Stop that type of play. You have to give her a yellow card. I don't understand how you basically just ignore that and just that it can't be. You know what I mean? Like the ref them as usual always just kind of, I mean, I would say basically he was in some parts he let the game kind of flow, but because even low could have pick up a red card and she's so peace, man. But to finish up, but like me, I say still, I really think the Panama are going to run through the middle and just the scene. You understand?
Yeah.
If we don't prepare for that, who we even going to bring in, I don't even know. Like, I don't know even if Anderson and all of them can even help to cope with that. They not get enough game time. They probably even have enough time to understand how the role of the players are playing in the game now. You know, it's just ridiculous. But I don't know. What else is still? I know we just upset, and this is more emotional for a lot of us, because truth be told, a 1-0, the only positive I can take on it is like they never really have a lot of chance to score more. They had some moments which basically played safe. So it's not like we could have said, okay, well, them could have scored 5 more. But they could have, but I'm just saying it's like it wasn't just all clear cuts. You understand? We only had one that might where, we pin off. But it's just like is here and there. You know what I mean? There is no much positive I could say in this game. It was just that horrible.
Yeah,
I
man.
just feel like the team itself, because we are blaming the team itself has to learn to wake up. They need more leadership role on the team. The man must step up and talk to them one another and just remind each other, say, listen, come in, man, wake up, Reggie, make up tackle and play hard too. And stop act like, say, listen, you have to much look at fire with fire more time. I push you have to push them too. You know what I mean? So, but pick up Cranky. Like,
Yeah, man. Thanks, DJ, for your time.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, man. Yeah. So I don't know who DW is, and DW says the best investment you can make, Cranky, is playing. Cranky, what local players don't you like? You keep preaching this false narrative that people are believing. First of all, I'm not preaching any false narrative. I'm gonna get to your comment, DW. I have another call coming in. They're coming in for good evening. Hello.
Yes, you hear me, Cranky?
I'm hearing you. Yes. Who am I talking to?
Speaking to Gavin.
Say it again, please. Davin. Yeah. How you doing, Davin?
Yes. Cranky, two things. One thing. I don't know if you heard, but King was confirmed to be going to Scotland.
Right.
So that is good for him.
Yeah.
Hopefully he can significantly improve on his game and bring that to the national team. What do you think about King in the middle of the park? Seeing that we have so much deficit and centre back injured and lack of 6 and 10 and so on and so forth.
Well, I haven't seen King play the CDM, so I can't comment on that. I've heard people think that because he played with so much composure in the center back, that it'd be an easier transition to the CDM. I think the CDM role, I think a lot of center backs, not a lot, but some center backs, like Hayden was a center back, Declan Rice was a center back, have transitioned to the CDM role. You see, Partey did it for Arsenal by going from CDM to center half last time they played. So there are things and attributes about both positions which can be similar, especially a ball playing center back. So it could be a transition for him, and he's much better on the ball than Lowe is. It was interesting yesterday. He had a ball where he got by 2 players and then looked like he panicked and just passed the ball to an opposition, right? But that position requires a lot of composure, a lot of awareness, spatial awareness, know where you are, being able to understand when the game should be sped up, when it should be slowed down. There are, when you should tackle, when you should not tackle, where position you should be in at what point in time, and not just chase the ball. There's so many attributes that a CDM requires that sometimes is not innate to players, right? You have to learn the position. So I understand the idea and the view that King could do that transition. I don't really have a comment on it because I've never seen him play there, but I'd have to see it. Just like the coach believes that because of Gray's technical ability, he can play the 10. He's done okay in the 10, but you can see he's a natural winger by design because he keeps drifting out and he's center forward. He stays on the left side most of the game, right? When he's playing the 10, which is interesting, even though Russell is also playing much further that people have talked about than you would expect from your 8 sometimes and not providing the balance defensively that he should. So, but I can't really comment, but I understand why you're making the comment.
My last one, I don't know if you can provide any commentary. What is the situation regarding Janira Johnson? You make a comment on that, or you're not allowed to diverge what you know?
So, Janira Johnson's situation is similar to Tyrese Hall. That's all I can say. That's all I can say of that. Yeah, Tyrese Hall from Tottenham, Janira Johnson from Ajax. Both of those players actually, especially Johnson, wanted to play for the under-20, where they were all 14 of them got their papers and were not allowed to play with the under-20, which then got 15 love, which I can't stop talking about. But there are some things there that needs to be worked out, right, about those players. I can't go into the details, people, because I was told things in confidence, but there are some issues there that need to be worked out. But those 2 players are very good players who have bright future, who could add a lot of value to the team now, not just tomorrow, actually. They could come into the team now and add value, not wait down the road 4 or 5 years for them to be part of the squad. But that the JFF let me say this actually. The JFF need to come out sometimes and talk about some of these things that if they can work it out with the players and the players' agent and their families about what they can and cannot talk about, and come on and provide some information to the public so we don't keep on speculating.
So do you see that being resolved, because we desperately need a viable six? I don't know that this is the answer. It can be part of the solution, but I don't think it's the entire solution.
I don't think it's going to be resolved tomorrow. It's not going to be resolved tomorrow. It's not going to be resolved tomorrow.
Can it be resolved between now and September?
I don't think so.
My God.
Yeah, they're by the way, they're good players. They're good kids, actually. And as I said before, people, when we think about recruiting, the JFF needs to determine what direction it wants to go in. The JFF have to make some decisions, some uncomfortable decisions. And it's hard to do. And I understand where they are, but they have to make some uncomfortable decisions.
But Frankie, is this in this situation? I mean, well, I don't know if you were listening to Sports Explosion this morning, but Oral Tracy actually apologized for his comment regarding what's his name?
Who, Hayden?
Yeah, because when I was one of the persons called into his program, I said not now, but the last window, that it makes no sense to have Damian Lowe in the middle. I think that was in March. That was in March. And someone called it right after me and rubbish to say that he was selecting his ideal 11 to face. I don't remember which team it was, and he said he would have selected Damian Lowe over it, which made no sense. But anyways, he apologized to what's his name? The man always called us New York.
Yeah.
Program. He apologized to him and said that he made a mistake in selecting what's his name? Damian Lowe over in the middle.
Okay. Well, I'm glad he recognized that he can be wrong, because
And it's funny enough, he made a post on his YouTube where he was seriously questioning Damian Lowe going into the future because of the reckless challenges that he made throughout the game. That, in my opinion, we deserve at least 2 red cards for each of those that he committed. Because I don't know what he was thinking or what he was doing, but that never makes any sense. But
yeah,
we're in the position we're in, and we don't have a competent 6 outside of 8 in terms of a backup. I don't see how they would not want to resolve the issue with Janira Johnson, because you're alluding to multiple players coming in September, and based on what you said, it doesn't seem like any of those is any midfielders. Is probably strikers and wingers and defenders or wing backs or whatever the case may be. But the question remains: who's going to get them the ball? If we can't get them the ball, they're good as they're not there.
You know, that's a great point. You hear me trying to advocate and push and try to have conversations with people who are doing recruiting to pursue the McNeil-Ramsey combination. Now, for Ramsey may still want to wait for England because he's still young, even though that line to play that 8 position is getting longer and longer. And that's why Billingham's been pushed back from the 10 to play the 8 for England. So it's going to be hard for Ramsey to get in there, but I understand why he wants to wait. He's a very talented player, both he and his brother. And then there's McNeil, who's getting up there his age, is now late 20s, and his time is running out. And to me, he'll be the perfect 8 for Jamaica. When you have a player who used to play on the wing, who is brilliant at finding people, who can run all day, who is comfortable on the ball, who puts a foot in, you want that workhorse in the midfield when a workhorse is also technical. And I don't know, I know we have tried to reach out to him, is my understanding, and he wanted to wait for England. But that's one of those players I would definitely want to pursue. That's what I'm saying. The JFF got to make their minds up. The JFF should be calling the Prime Minister and others and Bob's Grain saying, you know what, let's talk to this player. Let's try to convince him. We don't do that. We don't pull out all the stops to bring players in who we believe are an imperative for the team. We don't do that.
Sorry to cut you, Frankie. You know what occurred to me the other day when we played the match at the stadium? Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm listening. I'm hearing you.
You know what occurred to me when I saw the match in the stadium?
Yeah, I'm listening.
That this is the moment that either the head coach, Steve McLaren, or the acting general secretary, or somebody, particularly the head coach, somebody like him, that you had the prime minister who was at the match. You had the minister of sports at the match. And at the end of the match, they came onto the field and it was a lot of hugs and courtesies and all them kind of things. This was the perfect time to whisper something in his ears and say, yo, you know, we have a situation, you know, we really want to go to the World Cup. We think we have a good chance, but we'll have an impediment in getting some players over the line. You see the situation with the main team. Can you help us? Because an election year in a cranking, and he would have been in the stadium and he would have been trained for the team. Would the worst if I go say no?
Yeah. Look, I think the JFF needs to. They need to be better. Look, they have to make up a decision. It's not even about relationship. They need to figure out what they want to do, and then they can go out executing. Right now, I don't think they've made up their mind about what direction they want to go in. I don't think they have gone overboard like some countries do to recruit players. They have to make their minds up, and they have to convince their constituent it's in the best national interest. It can't just only be in that constituent's interest. Seriously.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, man, thank you. So let me address DW. DW says the best investment. I see DW is one of those people like Football Guru. He comes and he's very negative and he wants to knock me. So let's go there. Okay, don't realize how me have the mic. He said the best investment you can make, Cranky, is playing. Cranky, what local players don't you like? You keep preaching this false narrative that people are believing. So false narrative I'm preaching. A lot of times I come on this forum and these programs, I don't say half the thing I've been told in certain environment that are deemed to be confidential. So when some people come and accuse me of making certain comments, I have to laugh at them, and they don't understand that I am getting information. I get calls all the time, and sometimes you have to substantiate and verify the veracity of what you've been provided by your source, and sometimes you can't even do that. So you don't put the information out there. But I'm not sure what player I don't like. I've said this. I like a number of the local players. I like Brown. I like Cephas. I like Dixon. People say I don't like Bailey. I don't like Bailey, how Bailey plays for Jamaica. I have nothing against the kid. I wish him all the best. I was hoping he scored yesterday. But he's been awful. He would not be in my team. He would not be my starting 11. You can't play a 30-something game for a country, and we can't point out 2 games which you played excellent football. I was told yesterday, because I couldn't hear it, that the commentators were saying you don't play well for his country. And a bunch of people like you, DW, keep spreading this narrative and this crap about but Cranky don't like this and Cranky don't like that. You guys spread the narrative and the crap that you spread all the time because you support players with this blindfold on. I criticize players no matter who they are, no matter what. I criticize Antonio and I get beaten. I criticize Palmer and I get beaten. But it's not the same when I criticize local players. You guys take it personal. I don't care what you think. I'm going to say what I see and what my perspective is. You don't like it, I can't help you. So I'll just tell you, get over yourself. Good evening. Hey, Jay. Hello?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, yeah, blessings. Yeah, just, wanted to chime in. Obviously the fan base definitely disappointed, with the performance. And, you could go as far to say we got like rope-a-dope by Guatemala with the first, it's almost like a Champions League, tie home and away.
Yeah.
And,
yeah, exactly. Good analogy.
yeah, we got kind of rope-a-dope. But the thing I wanted to say is...
No, explain the rope-a-dope to people, because some people weren't there when Muhammad had rope-a-dope, George Foreman. So explain the rope-a-dope.
Oh, okay. That's where, you lean back on the ropes and you let your opponent, tire out themselves and, show all their best shots. And then you forward back and drop them because, they thrown everything that they got at you.
So I'm going to explain it another way. You give them a false sense of security. You make them believe that they can beat you when you're playing possum, and then you just hit them when they don't expect it.
Right.
Yep.
Exactly.
Yep.
Exactly. But my thing is this, like right now, like I'm in total agreement with you about the midfield, recruiting Ramsey and Dwight McNeil if possible. But my thing is now with that the draw that came out for the final round now, I mean, it's pretty much obvious that, like, if you're on the fence, you should be looking at this as a prime opportunity because, some of these players, maybe they value a England call-up, you know what I mean? Like, more than anything. Maybe they just want that jersey on the wall or something like that. But if you look at it, man, there's nothing else that really compared to the FIFA, like, limelight. You know what I'm saying? Like, that, that's the most eyes on the planet that's watching you at that time. And there's really nothing else on in entertainment that compares to it. Not the Olympics, not nothing else. You know what I mean? So some of these guys should really look within themselves and say, do I want to make history or do I just want a jersey in my den, in a nice frame or something like that? Because now's the time to forward, especially given how easy, the group looks, with Bermuda and Trinidad and Curacao,
It's a good point you're making, but there are a lot of other considerations, right? Some of these kids may not have been exposed to Jamaican household as some other kids were. Second, some of those kids here are their rejects, and I've been told this by people from England. They hear their rejects, they hear all these negative things, and they're like, why should I go fly across the world to come play for somebody who don't appreciate me? They see what happened to Hutchinson, and they don't appreciate it. They also grew up playing for the England youth teams and have aspirations to play for that country, which we need to appreciate, right? They also may be told by the agents to be patient. A lot of times, those kids are handled by handlers. They don't control themselves. They just play football and play video games. The handlers make decisions on their behalf. And there's some players we have now where that's happening, right? You see the coach mentioned about one of the players we're trying to bring in, about the handlers. They make decisions. The kids just play the football. They trust their handlers. They give them the autonomy. They give them almost like we call power of attorney to run their lives. And they do because they realize that they're going to do it in their best interest. They may say, wait for England. If you play for England, the incentives you have in your contract is much more than you play for Jamaica. So people have to understand there are people we're dealing with and individuals. We're not dealing with robots. So I understand what you're saying. And you're right. When you look at it, if some of those kids come in with the support they have of World Cup is a must. But the question on a net basis, is it going to benefit versus if they get into the England team or whatever? Just stay there because they could come on international duty and get injured and then they're not protected because Jamaica can't pay them.
Yeah, no, I understand that, but I mean, the goal should be to play at a World Cup. That's the biggest stage of football. Period. Bigger than the Champions League, and just from a pure sportsmanship type perspective. I mean, if that's not the goal, then I understand. If it's to try to use it as leverage for some kind of financial gain or some kind of, which I mean, you can flip that and use it as a promotional apparatus as well while you're, playing, because that's the biggest stage. So if you do something in a World Cup match, you're going to shine the most. So, I mean, people should look at it as, okay, if I get minutes in the World Cup, that's going to boost my profile more than a lot of other things can, especially if some of these guys aren't playing in Champions League and so forth. But the other thing I wanted to bring up is like, all right, so, ever since 98 when, Billy Gardner got that transfer to Bolton, it's almost like Jamaica has been chasing that dragon of like, we got to get another £1 million transfer, another £1 million transfer. I'm glad to see St. Mary and the son and Richard King. That's great, but look how long that took to go through. Richard King arguably should have been off the island about 2-3 years ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, but what I wanted to say is that if we were to see the team overall value, the wallowing on transfer market and, look at different, values of the different players and so forth, right? If the overall value of the team was to get into the 200 million, pounds or dollars, kind of like Canada, US, Mexico, then those couple spots that, hey, we know that there's a quota system at play. If the JFF played their cards right, those spots by osmosis, these players that they're trying to sell would actually raise their value just by being a part of the team. They will have an easier time selling these players, but you can't water it down by just having players that really don't, based off merit, shouldn't be in a situation where, like shouldn't be a part of the team like that. But for those handful of players that they are trying to sell, I just think we have to grapple with the realities that that's something that they're trying to do. Listen, all right, if you're going to do it the right way so that the player that you're trying to sell by osmosis is gonna get the shine from, let's say a Greenwood that's, high profile or somebody else, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's what they should be looking at to try to, if they are going to try to facilitate these transfers and stuff like that, they shouldn't water it down. They should try to build up the value of the team by recruiting, the high value players, and then by osmosis, some of the players on the island can,
Right.
get their value boosted by being a part of such a valuable team, national team.
Yeah, no, there's some logic to that perspective. I'd agree.
Yeah. I think, the other point I wanted to make, and I'll forget the line for somebody else, but it's like, man, yeah, we can't shoot myself in the foot with this team selection business where, like, for instance, Brandon Covert is a CDM, can play the position. I remember watching him in the FA Cup. And one thing that I was looking forward to was seeing Brandon Covert and Isaac Hayden being able to, mentor Brandon Covert, because in that FA Cup game, I remember seeing Connor Cody go to Brandon Covert and give him some direction and stuff like that. And you can tell the youth was like very receptive to, elder statesman showing him, some giving him some knowledge and stuff like that.
Right.
And it looked like Isaac Hayden is that type of player as well. So I really feel like, the coach is shooting himself in the foot by coming unprepared. Number one, selecting players that's not going to be able to, show up, whether it's through the fitness or whatever, like Bobby Reed and stuff like that. So, I mean, the next thing is, you can't expect the fans to spend their hard-earned dollars, because I was thinking about flying out to go to the Texas Panama match in Austin. But then again, it's like, man, if they don't take it serious enough to properly select a balanced squad and have coverage at the crucial positions, especially positions we know we have issues with, which is the 6. Listen, man, you can't expect people to buy plane ticket, buy hotel, or rent a car, all that stuff, for a game on a Tuesday night in the middle of the work week and stuff like that. Like, listen, you guys they have to do the right things for the fans to then feel empowered to spend their hard-earned dollars to support,
Yep. No, I totally agree.
Yeah.
All right. So
mess up yourself.
Yeah, man.
You know what I'm saying? Hey, man, to doing what you're doing, man, we need it. We need the same voices out here,
All right. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it, Jay.
Yeah, man.
All right. So DW, the line is open. But DW can't call other people because DW is from the JFM. Let me just say some people. DW called me a liar, right? He said I'm a liar because there's no quota in the national team. Now, we have to be very careful about how we want to define quota. There is no quota in any official JFF document for any team. Is that right, DW? There is no specific quota written in the JFF Constitution, anything that talks about a quota is there. But we have been told that if you want to have more than 7 players for any junior team, you have to get approval from various committee or whatever committee is designated to do so, right? Which is discriminatory. And we've talked about this ad nauseum, so we won't go back to it. And it's violating the citizens' right of equal opportunity. And if you go check the Jamaica Constitution and in the JFF Constitution, discrimination is not allowed. So let me say this to DW, because he won't call in, because he's a wimp. Because all these people like to do is hide behind their computer when they make these comments. He's going to call me a liar, but he can't show his face to disprove my lie. No, I was told by somebody, I won't say who, because when I have these these conversations, they're confidential, that the top players in the JPL got to be in the national team. Now, if you tell me that the top players in the JPL got to be in the national team, that means you have some kind of a quota, because by default, if those top players are not good enough, and you say they got to be in the team, then that means they're part of the team. What are you talking about? You don't have to specifically say, you know what, we got to have 5-placer quota or a 4-placer quota. The concept that you have tells me there's a quota in the national team. And when the team is selected, we can see how the team is picked, that there's a quota, and some people get in. It's a 5-person quota. The coach keeps emphasizing how many local players he has in the team, because the number of players play overseas nowadays. We try to get that balance right. I think we had like 10 overseas diaspora players and 11 players. If you were to pick those teams, just, you know what, I'm going to come September, because those numbers will change. Now, some diaspora players maybe moved out the national team because of who's coming in, but there are going to be less positions, because when you bring in players who have certain pedigree, there is no question about those players. You can't argue like, you know what, I'm going to play this player instead of this player. No, it doesn't work that way. The difference in class is so huge, you have to play those players. So if it works out that Pika does his job and allow these players to come on board, it's a different story. DW said there are 4 players in the I haven't done the call. I'm telling you what I was told. DW, you called me a liar. You called me a liar, and I've been told, and I've heard it said by senior people in the JFF, there's no quota. But it depends on how you want to define quota. Quota doesn't mean I have to come and explicitly say, oh, I have 7 places reserved for just overseas players. Quota is the methodology you employ and deploy and show up, and what we see in terms of what you do and what your perspective is, and then you execute against it. It is obvious that you do that. So you may be part of JFF, and you may say I'm a liar. That's your prerogative, but I know what I know. And most information I get it from excellent sources. Dr. Dan, the cardiologist, Mr. AI, how you doing?
Sir Cranky.
How you doing?
Man, Cranky, I see. Hey, please calm down. I don't want you to get run up your blood pressure, please.
You know, I'm gonna get a heart attack. Why are you here if you can't handle my heart attack? Why are you here? Why are you here, Doctor?
I'm in California. I'm thousands of miles away from you. I can't.
So you want? I can talk to AI and you at the same time. AI will tell me, and you will tell me what to do.
Listen, Cranky, like I mentioned to you a couple months ago, man. A couple weeks ago, AI, Cranky, when I'm like, for instance, if a patient come in, they got pancreatitis, I just type in on, it's called open evidence, pancreatitis. It tells you everything split. I was like, whoop. You know what? I used to remember I told you that I argued against that, but man, it is very, I use it to even write papers now, and I'm doing research papers.
Hey, people, you hear? So my program has some value, people, even though DW doesn't think so. It has some value, right? It has some value. No,
it's
Hello?
the humanistic part of it, you need that, but I started seeing people using it. You know, old people sometimes, well, I'm not old, but you know, old people sometimes stuck in their ways, like the JFF, they don't want to change.
Right.
New things coming out. So what happened was I said, I'm not going to do that. But I saw everybody doing it in the question, whoop, whoop, whoop. They said you can't beat them, join them, right? I just started doing that.
Yeah. No, it's what AI does for you, as you're realizing, it's so efficient. You got to know how to use it, though, right? Because some people just rely upon it, and it's wrong sometimes. It does wrong, actually. You have to have some semblance of idea of what you're talking about, what you're doing, and be able to manage it. But the efficiency cannot be beat. Cannot be beat.
Yeah, it's Cranky. I'm telling you, it's very, like, I remember because, like, I oversee other younger doctors, right? And I'll ask this guy a question. I was like, hey, what do you do this? How much medication do you give this? This guy just took it in the thing and then boop, threw me in it. I was like, what?
but then you have to figure out, you have to then know, Dr. Dan, which is this dosage right? You have some idea, because something you can plug it in and it tells you, it's right a lot of times nowadays, it's getting better, but sometimes it can give you wrong data. So you have to have some idea. Yeah.
it will tell you 1 mil. It will tell you 1 mil per kid, and it's based on your weight, right? So it's actually very accurate. It's actually
Yeah. You know what I do, Dr. Don?
Yeah.
I use AI to check AI.
I didn't even know that. How do you do that?
So if I use chat to do something, right? I will take, if I ask chat to write me a paper on something, I will take it. And if it has data that needs to check accuracy, and I'll put that into Perplexity, which is another one run by some, I think it's an Indian group. That's even more accurate than ChatGPT, but Chat has more features. And then I will take it and go to Gemini 2.5 and check it. And Perplexity will come back and say, yeah, this is great, but you haven't thought about A, B, and C. I'll go back to Chat, and Chat will say, yes, that's a great idea. Let me incorporate that. I will then go to 2.5 and says, this is what I have. What do you think? It comes back. So I go between the three of them, and I come up with what I call the optimum result, actually, about how that works. So you should consider that also. Use AI to check AI. It'd be amazing how that works.
Honestly, Cranky, I remember, I wish if this was around when I was in undergrad, those 10-page paper I used to take 4 days to write.
Yeah. Well, that's what universities are struggling with nowadays, you know. They're struggling with how they, because I think what's happening, it's almost like you're going from one way of operating. You know, we go from the agrarian society to industrialized and then to technology. And then it's been fought by those who learned the old way. That's what you're seeing now, right? So people got to get over it and figure out how to use it best for society and for us in general to allow us to be more effective and more efficient in terms of what we're doing.
No, I you know, like I said, I do. And again, I actually found your program very. Look, I support all the YouTubers. Obviously, you know that. But I think you diversify your. It's like a portfolio. You want to get index funds, EFTs, international bonds, whatever.
Right.
Diversify yours. You touch a little bit of politics sometimes.
Yep.
You touch a little bit of football. You touch a little bit of track. So I think for me, but the AI stuff is what me and you talked about. And I was like, I don't want to deal with that. But after I try it, I realized it makes my life so much easier. Like one of my students asked me to write a letter of recommendation, Cranky. I just put in a question, write a letter of recommendation on a patient student this. And all I did was went through it and just like give examples as well as like edit it a little bit. And it was 5 minutes. And I was like, man, it just, you know, it was just...
It's amazing, isn't it? It's amazing.
It was good.
So I get a story. I have a mentee who is hope he's not listening. He's an engineer, right? And he's thinking about going to grad school. And my first thing was, before you go to grad school and go spend 2 years, go find out which one of those things you may major in, which AI may totally displace. Don't go into a major, which that major become obsolete the day you start school. Go try find out if your major it's going to be affected, but how material will it be? Because what you don't want to do is do something which, you know what, becomes ubiquitous. Everybody can do it. It's not useful to you, and you wasted 2 years and spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a degree.
But I also don't want to scare anybody in the chat to make sure when you go to the hospital, it's not an AI that's treating you as a doctor. with a little bit of AI help. That's it. A little bit of AI help.
Well, no. It should be a lot of AI help, actually. No, man, it should be a little bit of help. Because here's why, Dr. Dan. Because if you don't give me a little bit when you could have done much better. Here's what I think about it, Dr. Dan. Let's think about this seriously, people. So all the doctors across the world who may have public information in some system, take it, collate it, and give it back to me, right? It's hard for one human being to go out and get that data across the world and collate it and give you something based on what their perspective is. That's how I view it. It may be a simplistic way of viewing it, but that's how I view it. So I think hospitals and people like yourself should really leverage it because you have the knowledge. You're still going to provide your perspective and your expertise in helping to inform whatever the outcome is or what you're trying to do. But I think the AI will get you there much, much quicker and much better because you may have a perception of something based on your teaching, but it may not be, the symptoms may not exactly marry to what you think it is because AI may give you another alternative that you need to consider. That's how I view it.
Yeah, but Cranky, here's the thing though. You're right. Remember, it's the younger people, Gen Z, Gen X, whatever. The older folks are the one that's getting pushback on that. The older ones who does not use an iPhone. I have a doctor who's still using the flip phone in this day, right? No. I mean, nothing wrong with that, Cranky. But the thing is, like, medicine has changed, efficiency has changed, right?
Yep.
You know, at the time, like for instance, there was times when you took 30 minutes to see a patient, certain things. Now you could probably do it in 10, 15 minutes, and you can see 4 or 5 patients in an hour, right?
Yep.
Because
guys off the help of other things, and because you guys are more efficient, people want to see you, people to get in. Think about it, Cranky. If you go to a doctor's appointment, you don't want to stay there the whole day sitting around. You want to go see, talk, boom, and leave, right?
Yes.
That's the thing. So it's, the thing is the upper level of management when it comes to medicine are older, white Jewish people who's been in there for 30, 40 years from the 60s, 70s. So they don't want to change, right? So what they want to do, they want to oppress us in terms of new stuff. I'm telling you, the AI stuff is getting a lot of pushback in medicine. There's been so many researches about it that shows it's beneficial, but obviously for it to be passed has to be a lot of, other people, younger people like myself who's fresh in the game. It's not, we don't have any say. We're just like,
well, it's job protection, right? It's job protection, part of it. Comes to what's new, and it's also job protection. Yeah.
That's true. But we can have this conversation all the time about
no, I'm gonna be doing more programs actually on some of these. So it's not. I'm when I get back to New York, which hopefully I get back soon. Since people say I've been Trump is keeping me in Jamaica, I'm gonna do more of these programs. I think they're very important to do actually. And you can come on and we can talk about some of these things. What you're seeing.
Yeah, I think we need to catch up on what Trump is doing, man. But that's another thing. Listen. I'm telling you this right now. I am looking to invest somewhere in Africa. I want to move within the next couple of years. I don't want to stay here. But I've been looking to invest. Like I said, my girlfriend is Nigerian, so we were getting some property back in Nigeria. So it's something I don't know, but I'm just looking to move. I don't think I want to stay here much because also if I go be a doctor elsewhere, I'll it'll be less stringent than what it is here.
You gonna make much less money though.
That's fine. I mean, like I said, she's also a surgeon, so.
Oh, so no rich already. What are you talking about? No rich.
I won't say that. We're not struggling.
I don't think you're struggling. Far from it, actually.
we're not struggling. But so my point is, I'm saying, Cranky, right? So I mean, I'm not sure if I said this, but I went to the Trinidad game here in San Jose, right?
Right.
Cranky, I'm telling you, I watched the game and Trinidad was abysmal. When I say it was abysmal, it was so much to the help. I was like, there's no way we're not going to qualify the World Cup. I still believe we will, to be honest with you. So here am I now. I feel good. Even the U.S. looked bad. But to be honest with you, the whole roster of the U.S. team was MLS. The only person I knew was Tim Marine and Richards, the two center back.
Right.
So I'm watching the game. So I'm there. I'm going to the Guadeloupe game on Friday. I'm going on Friday, so I'm going to see how that goes. They should beat them. But so I'm watching the game. I was like, okay, Jamaica's definitely going to qualify because the only person I think in that group that can give us trouble is Trinidad. Because based on what Trinidad did to us when they cut our midfield apart, in the 3-2 win, I was like, okay, that's concerning.
Right.
However, here comes this day now where I felt humbled. You know what they say? The Bible said, those that exalt yourself shall be humbled. I got humbled. I got humbled mainly because, like, the thing is, for me, Cranky, is like, I'm watching the coach, right? I listen to you a lot. I remember you always say that the flaw that you have against Arteta is game management.
Yeah.
Substitutions and game management, right? If you notice, most coaches, after about 55 minutes, they started making changes because about 10 minutes in the second half, you don't see many changes. The game is not changing, then you make changes, right?
Yeah.
So we came 62 minutes, no changing. I'm like, what is going on? Like, why is he not making the changes? Why is he not making any changes? Because I for one is, right, Cranky, I'm not going to beat the coach and say, the coach is terrible. The reason why I said that is because, let's look at this standpoint. If you listen to commentators, right, there were players on the pitch, Cranky, that could not control the ball. That's basic, fundamental soccer, right?
Yeah.
You're telling, even the commentator was saying every time Jamaicans control the ball bounce off their feet. Why? It can't be the pitch. We're not going to blame the pitch because the pitch was perfectly watered. The pitch was looking good, right? So that was my biggest concern, right? Also, another thing, Low, I'm going to answer this question. Please answer it. Why did the coach keep starting Damian Lowe in midfield? Here's a question I'm asking you, though, Cranky. You remember Sir Alex Ferguson? I always used to start John O'Shea because John O'Shea will give 100% no matter what. Do you think that's the same concept he's employing here in Lowe?
I don't know what it is. I think he's being influenced in that decision. I think Lowe is a very dominant person and a dominant personality. If you hear him when he speaks, when he was at the press conference, he talks about his role and him being the, how would I put it? He's the person, he's the X factor in a sense. He dominates the room. It appears that way. and he's very respected, appears, in that environment. And so, therefore, if the coach doesn't have an option, and the coach probably influenced that he's played in that role, he's aggressive, he'll cause mayhem, then maybe that's why he played him. You know, people still living off the Canada game, which I keep telling people, that's a one-off situation. It may never happen again, and it hasn't happened since. But there's no rationality in terms of when you think about what transpired previously in the BVI game. Why would come back and play Low in the CDM? Low was poor in the BVI game at CDM. He's fine at center half because he has to make less plays at center half. He's less of a ball handler at center half. When Low gets the ball, his utilization of the ball is not good. So when he wins it, what does he do with it? Against Canada, he won it way upfield. He just give it to Nicholson or somebody close to him, and he moved back because he was chasing the ball. His position in play is not great, and his distribution of the ball is not great. So to answer your question, to me, it's actually weird. It's not strange. It's just weird.
That's the same way I analyze the game. So this morning, Presser did a live this morning, right? And I often agree with Presser. I'm not sure if he's here, right? And I'm going to be honest with you. The whole game, it's as if that he's saying that Low. He didn't say these exact words, but as if he's saying that Low was the one that cost us the game. He also did touch on the coach as well as Leon Bailey. But my thing is, Cranky, I wouldn't be so sure if Low wasn't in that position, would have still won the game. I don't think so. The reason why I said that is, okay, let's look at this. Every time Bailey got the ball, he dribbles to the end of the flag, he loses the ball, right? Bailey cannot, for the love of God, why the man cannot regurgitate the same type of play that he did at Aston Villa. I don't know why.
But not this year. Aston Villa last year, not this year.
Yeah, I mean, even this year he had few good games. He was injured a lot, so I would say he was injured a lot. But for me, I don't understand why he can't regurgitate that, right? To me, it should be less pressure for Jamaica than is it Aston Villa, because there's somebody in Jamaica, in Aston Villa where they sell the name your food if you don't play. Here, you don't. You could play and then you still get it, so you're supposed to be more relaxed, right? That's what I'm thinking. I don't know why. But Cephas, Cranky, we disagree on this. I remember me always talk about this. This man, I told you, Cephas doesn't offer anything other than speed. If you keep his back against, if he got his going to the up this goal post, he cannot do anything for you. He doesn't offer anything. He doesn't have to turn his shoulder, doesn't have to do anything like that. You notice that every time he gets the ball, he's trying to shoot somebody, he loses the ball, he complains, doesn't go back.
Yeah.
I'm like, you can't do that. Listen, Guatemala is a small team. What happens when he go to the World Cup and go up against big European players who understands the game and understand his speed? You think he can do that against the likes of Van Dijk? Even though Van Dijk, he's not going to do that. They're going to just shield the ball and use the sideline as an extra defender. You have to offer more to the thing. I see a lot of people saying him and Gray, start him over Gray. Listen, me personally, I would like Gray because Gray offers a little bit more than just speed. He can turn, he can pass, he can do all this stuff. That's why I like it. You can't coach speed, which is true, right?
Right.
But it's like you do need to offer more than just one dimension. If you're too one dimension, it's easy to read you and mark you out the game. That's my issue.
Now, it's a fair point. I go back and forth on Cephas, right? Someday he's a word beater. Someday he's just a deadbeat. That's that extreme. He's just poor, or he's never something in between. He's either great or he's just poor. Yesterday was one of those days. And the ref wasn't helping the team because Guatemala should have gotten about 5 or 6 yellow cards. Low probably should have gotten a red, frankly, just by intent. But they weren't getting yellow cards when they pull us back when we get breakaway. Yesterday's game was also interesting, which we're not talking about. John, you have to, when you're a player on the field, you have to assess how the game is going and where you're needed. Jonathan Russell was bombing forward. He wasn't helping Low in the midfield by creating angles so Low could get in the ball, so he could actually start the play, knowing that Low may be deficient in that area. Right? So, and Gray wasn't coming back to form that triangle in the midfield. There was no combination between the midfield at all. Most of the ball came from Low out to Lati or Low to King to go out to Bailey. Russell wasn't in the play a lot where he should be. The Guatemalans had those triangles, especially on the left-hand side, having those interchange. We didn't have any of that. And why a coach can't see that is beyond me. I just don't understand.
You know, Cranky, who I adore, and I said this to you before, I'm going to say it again. I am not an Arsenal fan. I am a Manchester United fan. But Thomas Partey is one of the most complete
CDM that I see in football right now, barring the fact that he's 31 years old, but he keeps getting injured like he's 40. That's number one. Number two,
he is 40. He's from Africa.
if you remember Obi Mikel, Cranky, I don't know if anybody in this, Obi Mikel, the Nigerian midfielder from Chelsea, when he came to Chelsea, he was an attacking midfielder. Mourinho turned this guy into one of the world best center back. CDM.
Right.
Every time Obi Mikel get the ball, he's very disciplined. He filled the back lines. That's why everybody was able to do what they were doing. He get the ball, bam, bam, no wasting energy, no nothing. I rarely see the guy slide tackle. I rarely see him slide tackle. He was very slow, but he read the game so good. That's what we're missing. And to be honest with you, Frankie, it's hard to find a good CDM.
True.
It's very difficult because it's the dirty work, and nobody wants to do the dirty work.
It's not a dirty work. It's a cerebral work, right? People don't seem to realize that. That's probably the most cerebral position on the pitch, period. If you think about it. If you think about what a CDM is supposed to do the right way, it's the most cerebral position in the field. Somebody in a position you just run up and down on the wing or up front, move off the ball. CDM has to be thinking defense and offense continuously. Where are people? Where am I? Is the game going too quickly? Do I need to slow it down? Who should I play the ball to? When I love Partey. Partey is a player in the middle of making a pass will change his mind because he see the danger and play it someplace else. Or he'll do a look-away pass to freeze you to give his player that much of an inch. People don't seem to realize that. There's subtleties in the game. He has some Ronaldinho in his game, not the dribbling part, but the look-away passes, the subtle passes, the ball around the corner. These are the things which get you off balance, which I saw Guatemala doing that yesterday a little bit. And I saw Lati did a little bit of that yesterday.
That number 11 for Guatemala was actually he was dominating our midfield. That one number 11 guy.
Yeah. He made a turn once and left about 4 people behind him. We don't have that either. We don't have a midfielder who can drop their shoulder and leave the defense behind and go forward. We don't have any of that.
Right. You may agree. I saw Ryan put up a post that Marion Gardens to leave and so should the coach, right? We cannot keep having counter clock. It's like American football, right? Let's look at it, right? Let's take this analogy. If you play American football, you're a quarterback, right? You can't change your coaches during the season. The quarterback has to learn 4 or 5 different playbook, right? So they're not going to. My grandma used to say Rolling Stone, got no mass, right?
Yeah.
So my thing is like, you keep turning and changing coaches, right? So everybody say we want a new coach. We want a new coach. Sure, we need a new coach, right? The problem is only bringing these coaches, right? Do they actually have the reign to say, let me do what I feel like I want to do? Because I'm telling you, Cranky, there's no way this coach will play Dixon over a player who plays in championship and proven and score goal. Or certain, I mean, like if you have players who can play a position that Damian Lowell is playing versus maybe he's getting some sort of pressure in the back end. I really do think he's getting some pressure or he's just not good at all. I don't know.
I don't think it's pressure in the back end, to be honest. I think there's some politics that I think what happens, and how Grimson experienced this, I think as a coach, you feel the pressure from the local environment, right? Just like how I was told, should I say this? I was told that Ravel being in the team was influenced not by the JFF, but by other sources. I was told this, actually. I still can't believe it. But remember, Ravel was in the team initially, and then the whole besieging by the general public and YouTubers and everybody about Ravel should be considered. All of a sudden, Ravel is being called up, right? So I do think coaches and others listen to the outside environment. Now, do they normally act on it? I would probably say no. They go with their conviction. But sometimes they may be influenced, right? So it's not always the JFF who's doing the influencing. It could be other quarters that's doing it. There's a general, and when you hear some people talking about there need to be a balance in the team, I'm sure the coach is hearing this. When you hear TVJ comes on and says, the coach said these players were great, when the coach never said any such thing, because they want to spread a certain narrative, that's what happens, right? So the coach does feel the pressure.
Last point, Cranky. So another question. Do you think that, right? Say, for instance, we get the likes of, say, Carlo Ancelotti or, say, Mourinho or any big coach. Do you believe that our football would transform and be competitive in this region and then possibly worldwide? And the reason why I ask this is because I think it's not true. Because let's look at it this way, Cranky, right? I tell people this, right? If you ever want to get a disease, don't get a virus. Virus never cure. Bacteria can cure, right?
Yep.
I think we have a systemic issue in JFF, meaning that, like I'm mentioning to you with AI, right? The older folks do not want to move over and get young blood, young fresh blood, and just different idea. So imagine us getting those coaches. I don't believe that we would actually transform because they wouldn't want to give them the reign. What do you think?
No, they wouldn't do it. They're coaches for a point in time. They come in, do a job, and leave. Right? They're not really coaches. They're sort of managers. I have said this numerous times, and I get beaten for this. I think we should have gone to Spain, go find a young coach who has been indoctrinated in the Spanish system, both administratively and technically. Bring that person here, have them oversee the football, and hopefully provide them with the resources to help transform the football, not just the national team, but the football in general. We need a technical director. We don't have one, right? We don't have somebody overseeing the football. Domswell has been there. Domswell is retiring. We don't have somebody with the foresight, the strategic perspective, the knowledge, the vision to really reconstruct and reassess the football. And that's a Caribbean issue. That's just a Jamaican issue. Trinidad have the same thing. Trinidad maybe even in a worse position than we are, because we have more money than Trinidad. But you need that vision. You need that perspective. Not somebody who's been there, tried, done it, still young, still have the energy, still have the drive to come in and try to change your football, do almost like a metamorphosis versus fixing things at the edges. Hiring some person past their prime, trying to get one last job to make themselves look and build their legacy. It doesn't work. So you're going to keep going around in circle because you keep hiring the same people from the same environment. You're going to get the same outcome.
Yeah, I agree, Cranky. And the notion that you're saying that YouTubers doesn't understand the game, right?
Yeah.
Let's look at this, Cranky, right? Football and anything in life is analytical. I use this analogy already, Cranky. I am a physician, right, Cranky? And you can go to medical school, Cranky, on AI, YouTube. When I was in medical school in pandemic, Cranky, I couldn't go to class. You know what I was doing? I was watching YouTube videos because other medical students, other doctors put up videos on the particular material that I wanted to learn. I watched that, memorized it, learned, and went and passed my exams. The point I'm trying to say, when people said that, Cranky, it doesn't make any sense to me. The only thing that you would miss being a professional player is the camaraderie in the locker room because you don't get the stories or hear the stories that you see people talk about. But it's the same thing. Every coaches, every athletes, they watch film. They that's how you learn your player. That's how you learn against your opponent. That's how you break down the game. That's how you learn the mistake that you don't make. YouTubers does the same. We watch the game. We analytical. We say, okay, Cephas is playing like this. This is that. See, we analyze the game. So the notion that people are saying that we don't understand the game doesn't make any sense. Another thing is, let's look at the top coaches, Cranky, who did not play professional. Jose Mourinho did not play professional. Alex Ferguson did not play professional. Jurgen Klopp did not. He didn't go far in his career. But these coaches, what they do, they learn the craft, they come cultivate it and do good. You also have players who was professional who didn't when they became coaches. So I think these notions that people are saying that you don't understand, you can sit and learn the game and understand the game and implement your ideas and your ways and still be great. So all these people are saying YouTubers, I've learned a lot from these YouTubers. Every time I watch the coach's press conference, I left scratching my head because I don't learn anything from what he's saying.
Yeah, so let me just say this. It's very interesting. I've had a chance to work at some of the better companies in the world, a few of them. And I've always been intrigued by executive management perspective on how they think about things. So they would take somebody who used to work in financial services, who's a trader, or portfolio manager, and put them in HR, or put them in marketing, or put them in a department where they have nothing to do with it. And their view was this. It's twofold. One is, if you're smart enough, you'll figure it out. And I want somebody who is not influenced by that environment to come in with a different perspective, a different way of thinking to inform that environment, right? And these are material areas now. We're not talking about we're talking about major companies with material areas, and you put them in charge of it means you're running risk. But they know that, first of all, you're not the one going out there executing some of these things, right? You have people who are going to help you. So you hear people talk about Chung and FID, I have to laugh at them. And second of all, you're supposed to be smart. So you're going to invest in yourself. You're going to spend time learning that environment, but also you come with a different perspective. So most people, a lot of fans spend more time watching, analyzing, learning about the sport they love than they do anything else in their life. And they're doing it for years. It's like going to school for life. You think about it. It's like going to medical school from day one through when you die. And you don't tell me you learn anything along the way? And you get information from so many different sources? And you can decipher what's good from what's bad? These people are crazy. I laugh when they say that. But I play upon it because they keep saying it because they believe that they went to some coaching school, they know everything. Now, you may not learn all the intricacies about what they think, but frankly, you learn enough to be dangerous. You learn enough to be dangerous. So that's my 2 cents.
That's true, Cranky. I'm going to let somebody else come online. But
all right, sir.
I do agree, man. I do believe that I'm going to watch the game this Friday. I'm going to see. I think we need to score a lot against Guadeloupe just in case.
No. We need to just win. No. We need to just win.
but Cranky, Guatemala is going to play for a draw against Panama on the last game. So if they do, we need to have that goal difference. Hopefully that will help us get across.
Yeah, but the question is, can we truly beat Guadeloupe? We act as if Guadeloupe is going to be a walkover for us. At this point, we should just be happy for a win. We're not sure we can beat anybody at this point.
I refuse to believe we cannot beat Guadeloupe. I'm sorry.
Dr. Dan, we beat BVI by 1. We beat Dominica by 1. We barely got by St. Vincent. We drew the first game. Should have lost the first game. Scored 2 late goals in the second game. I can keep going on and on. We couldn't beat Cuba with 10 men. People just looking at the positive outcome, like the Nigeria game and the last Guatemala game. Go look at the history in the last 10 to 15 games and come back and talk to me.
Listen, you're right. You're right. Your behavior shapes certain people's judgment of you, which is true. We have proven that we cannot score, but we did score a lot in the Unity Cup. We score.
Yes.
So we score above our average, so that may help. But I mean, again, I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna just keep an open mind and see, because I don't think this is the roster for the World Cup, but I do think we're going to make it to the World Cup. My concern is, however, even if we make the World Cup, it's fine. I just want to get a World Cup jersey. I
hear you, Dr. Dan. I hear you.
But even if we don't make it too far in the group stages, I'm still proud. It's been 27 years. So.
All right, sir. Thanks. All right. You know what, people? I was going to come on this channel and come up. I had all these great ideas about JFF could make money. So here were some of my ideas. You tell me if they're stupid. Even though I don't think any idea is truly stupid. I said to myself, if I'm the JFF, I'm going to do well in the Gold Cup. Sorry, not the Copa. We're going to come and we're going to play. I'm going to come up with these jerseys, which are 3 international windows come September, October, November. I'm going to try to sell as many of them as possible globally and make as much money as possible because I'm guaranteed to qualify. That's how I'm thinking, right? I'm going to bring in more players. We're going to have a good team. I'm going to sell all these merchandise. I'm going to bring sponsors on board. I'm not signing any contract with any fee with any sponsor. I'm signing contingency contract. Because if I make World Cup, my fee triple, quadruple, 10 times what it is. I'm on contract with you now for a certain fee you're going to give me for me being part of my organization. But you have to understand that contract changes as soon as I make the World Cup. So I'm coming up with all these devices and ways to think about how we can maximize our earnings potential. And then we go lay a stinker against Guatemala, which then kill the vibes and makes it challenging. Cheap jersey. No, a jersey that's profitable. So if the jersey sells for $100, the question is, how much does it cost me to make the jersey and to distribute the jersey? So if I can make a 40% profit margin and I can sell 10 million, it's a lot of money. It's a lot of. I thought the JFF could make as much money or half the money they would get for the World Cup. Being at the World Cup, being at the World Cup may give you 12 million. I think they could make between 6 and 8 just to get up to the World Cup if they are smart and thinking deductively about how to generate revenues. I would not be signing any contract with any sponsor that has some flat fee to the World Cup. Because when you make the World Cup, so many sponsors are going to come on board. And I'm not just doing sponsors locally. I'm doing sponsors globally because the Jamaica brand is global. The Jamaica brand is global. I would not sign any contract with any set fee. Hell no. Okay, if you make the World Cup, your or go up 6, 7, 8 times, and my revenues need to be reflective of the value I'm bringing to your organization because you want to be part of me. But I don't think the Guatemala game helps. I still think if they bring in enough players, they can still go down that route. It may not be as lucrative as I initially thought, but it's still a way to consider, like you have a specialized jersey, right? The jersey is going to be for qualifying. And you come up with some nice logo and something around it, and you sell those for the qualifying, and you ask everybody to wear it, and you go global. Because the diaspora will buy the jersey, especially if you advertise really, really well. But we'll see what happens. Because it's going to be interesting where we go from here, given the performance in the first game. It wasn't pretty. It was ugly. And my hope is that we play better against Guadeloupe. They're looking for sure money. Well, prize money is good sure money, but the way we're going, unless we beat Panama and Guadeloupe, we're going to be out of the Gold Cup, which is probably our earliest exit in years, actually. That game yesterday was disastrous. Disastrous. I think Jamaica win the next two games. Panama is a difficult team. Panama has done exceptionally well in CONCACAF over the last 5 to 6 years. Exceptionally well. Exceptionally well. I'm getting some texts here about some stuff. Oh, nice. But no, I think the JFF has a chance to make some real money if they play their cards right. They got to go out and source the best talent to bring in. We need 6, 7 players. We don't need no 2, 3 players. I got different sources. One source tell me we're going to bring in 2 players. I think they're wrong, and they're a very good source. I think it's 4 or 5. We need 6, 7 players, I'm telling you. And we need to figure out if we can get a couple of midfielders, because right now, you can't get the ball to the forwards, and you can't get protection for the defense because the midfield is not where it needs to be. And I know it may sound like an alarmist, but that's a fact. It's a fact. That has to change, people. That has to change. Now, I think I've overstayed my my stay. I was planning to do about an hour and a half. I think I've done more than that. What is Flash saying? Flash says cranky. I've looked at the Adidas site. There's little to no Reggae Boyz gear on it. Yeah, that's an interesting one, actually. I think the JFF need to revisit the Adidas contract, actually. For the JFF, for example, do they have the right to audit Adidas to make sure whatever contract they have with Adidas, that they're getting what they're supposed to be getting based on the contractual terms? So a lot of organizations would have what they call a right to audit, meaning I can come in and check to make sure that you're not undermining me and you're giving me what I'm due, versus you just give me a number and I take it as what you say it is. We should never do that. You should have a right to audit in your contract, and you can designate somebody to go in and check to make sure that you've been provided the benefits that is in the contractual terms. And then secondly, as I said before, I was in Jamaica. I couldn't get any jerseys for the newer jerseys, especially the away one. I go to like 3 or 4 stores in Kingston, couldn't find any. I thought it was very disappointing. And I was led to believe that they don't really sell these jerseys in the Caribbean because they don't believe there's a market for it. Then you know what you do? You take it away from them. That's what you do. Good evening. Who am I speaking to?
Evening.
Yes.
First time on the program.
Who am I speaking to?
Yeah, this is Sheldon speaking.
How are you doing, Sheldon? What do you have to say, Sheldon? Welcome to the program.
Yeah.
Wait, by the way, people, for those of you who I haven't said this all evening, if you haven't hit the like button, if you haven't subscribed, if you haven't shared, please do so. Go ahead, Sheldon.
Yeah, one saying, good evening again. One saying, I think what happened with the team is that the coach have been influenced. You know what I mean? And it has been hidden. You know, and now come out and say it. And as I was saying earlier, there's a quota. There's a quota with the national team, but they're not going to say it. And you can't have a team where the star player, every time he get the ball, he go down the wing and he turn back. There's no...
Wait, back up. Who's the star player?
Liam Bailey.
The star player for Jamaica?
Yeah.
Wait, I got to take you up on that. How did they assume that mantle of being a star player?
Yeah, because, you know, he has been the most promoted player.
Okay.
For the national team.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Pertaining to advertising, you know what I mean? His name has been called in the Premier League several times, over and over and over again. You know what I mean? So the thing about it is, although he don't have 2 good games for Jamaica, the reason being is that how the team is playing. I can't say, he's the fastest nation in the world that will play the slowest football. That's ridiculous.
But here's the question. So we can't conflate the view that because we produce a lot of great track athletes, the footballers are also quick, right? Cephas is quick, but do we really have a lot of really quick players in our team? And are they quicker than the opposition?
Yeah, but what I'm saying, I'm not talking overall of the overall team. I'm just saying.
Okay.
It's not that we're a nation that can run.
Right.
We're not running on the field, we're walking. Brazil used to play that type of football and they have to step up their pace.
Right.
Because the other countries, they get a momentum on Brazil. Football has evolved and the other countries evolve on Brazil. And they gain more knowledge about the football. So a lot of other teams out there, Brazil can hardly beat them.
That's true. True.
All right. Then again, from the defense line, poor coordination. Right? The man have midfielders. See? And the man don't use the midfielders, the man use defenders in a number 6 position. See, the man could have bring back Russell, make Russell play the 6. See? And make the number 8. What name again?
Palmer. Well, Russell was the 8. But Palmer played the 10. Yeah. I'm talking by number, not on the position. Yeah. Okay. Number wise.
Yeah. Both of them could have played that position. You understand? The man have Lambikisa, when could have played right back. The man start William Latibodier. He's not a right back. He's just a makeshift. Occasionally he may play that position. But what the coach don't understand is playing in England is a different type of football that play in CONCACAF. And Jamaica not play no practice matches. When Jamaica went to the 98 World Cup, René Summers got a lot of practice matches. If it's even practice matches with your own Caribbean nation, you have to play practice matches so you can see your team and so you can tweet. And you can do a lot of things. So you can change players out of position. It's better you play the practice matches and do what you do experimentally. You do all the experiment in the practice matches. Right now, I can see that for Jamaica to progress to the next level, it's really a colossal thing for them right now. It's very hard to progress to the next level. Not talking about the World Cup coming up.
Okay.
Qualify. I'm talking about the style of play.
Right.
Right now, Jamaica don't have a system. Every coach comes the same thing. They just pick up some players and they go and play. That is why Jamaica don't qualify for a lot of tournaments, like under 17, under 14, under 20 tournaments, because the other countries, they have the guys in playing together for a very long time. When Jamaica time comes for under 17, under 14, they just pick up some guys and carry them out, they go play.
Yeah, but I do think the concept of practice matches are very, very difficult in today's football. You hear the complaint that players are overplayed. So if most of your players are playing overseas and playing club football, they're only available during international windows, not windows where you have friendlies. And that's why it's very difficult for national teams now, unless you're some of the teams which don't export a lot of footballers, to be able to be more cohesive and play together, right? It's very difficult in today's environment. Just think about next year. Think about this year, not even next year. We just finished a season. We have Gold Cup, we have Club World Cup, we have preseason, and then we're going to have 3 international window and all the club football starting. So they have no breaks between now and December.
Yeah,
It's tough.
So like we have like a week for international break, a week and a half for international break. Can the team like arrive, come to agreement with like a few Caribbean islands so we can play them? Even though we used to that already, you know, like
No, but call up, we cut you there. The international window is for specific World Cup qualifying games. They're either Nations League game or World Cup qualifying. Those windows are already taken in terms of games, so you don't have any time to do friendlies.
Oh, so
everything's that are mapped out there. Yeah, you don't have no time to do friendlies. That's why you see when Trinidad play Jamaica, it's all local players. What Jamaica should do, though, which is a good point, which is this: they should ask the clubs that have the younger players, the under 21s, to bring some of those into the national team when we're playing the Trinidad or the local teams, to get them blended into this environment, right? Not the covers that work, I was a professional, but some of the younger players who played the under 21, they should try to bring those players in and ask the club to release them. And if they're going to be international, they may consider it. Yeah.
So does it seems to be a good idea right now to bring back the under 21 league in Jamaica?
So that's been something that someone has approached me about that should be considered, which is they need to have an under 21 team, and the under 21 team is viewed as a breeding ground or a construct that allow people to matriculate to the senior team, right? We have an under 20 team now that hasn't worked out well, but the view, like the Europeans now have the under 21 tournament, that we should have something similar, different from under 20, because we have under 20 now. And that should be something that is considered to help the players matriculate up to. But people will say to you, well, really? Because a lot of kids who are 17, 18, 19 now play for the senior team anyway. So will that really help? But no idea is a bad idea. They all should be considered to see which one can work best.
One of the reasons why I said that is that right now, I think if they even said like under 20 would have been created. So we have an under 21 program in Jamaica, and we have an under 21 league. So they said that our Premier League team in Jamaica should have an under 20 program. And we have an under 20 program, but at the same time, when we get international break, we can get some under 20 players from overseas, and we bring them in and have them train together and get the youth mindset to transfer from England or wherever in the world they are and come and try to play for Jamaica before they improve and people start look for them to play for the England team or whichever country. Because if we get them young, with nobody looking at them, if we get them under some international representation, right, put them in the senior team, one and few of them in the senior team that we think is advanced enough, that will make it to the senior team. By the time England and other countries want to use them, they already represent Jamaica already.
Yeah, well, they'll have to play for the senior team, right, to get the caps. But yeah. Well, there are kids right now out there. Look, I mean, we had a very great opportunity when John Wall was here for the under 20 to bring in 14 to 16 kids, including some of those kids we're talking about now in this environment who would have added value to the team, and we didn't take advantage of it. We went with the quota system, and it hasn't worked out.
For real. One of the things why they bring in quota system, some of the coaches in Jamaica, what they do, they're trying to sell players.
Yeah.
Corruption in the JFF.
I don't know if, look, I don't want to call it corruption. Let me just say this, people, because I do beat the JFF quite a bit sometimes, but the idea to sell players is not corruption. The way you go about doing it can be challenged and can be questioned and may not be the right approach to take, right? So I don't think the national team should be used as the basis to get players exposure to sell them. I think it should be based on meritocracy, and you bring players in based on how they're performing for the national team. And if they get sold, can they get exposure? That's fine. I think you have to use different methods and ways to help players get the exposure via agents and otherwise, and maybe tournaments that they're playing and trials they can go on. You got to work harder to get them overseas versus just using the national team to do so. I'll also say this, which is very, very important, people, which is this. Some of the things the JFF is trying to do are aspirational and should be lauded, but the method they employ to do it is sometimes very challenging to digest, right? And I think that's part of the problem we're facing, which is, I don't want to call anybody corrupt. I'm very reluctant to use that term unless I have evidence about it, and that's hard to prove. But I'll say is that it's aspirational to want local kids to believe they have a chance to be part of the national team. That's a great thing. But I don't think it's fair for your son to have the ability to play for Jamaica and we deny them that right. I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it's how they do it. Because you're going to tell the coach, say, you have to pick this player because you want him in the team. Because if you give him 10 minutes, you want him to get, so that he can get 10 minutes. So if a club see him and want to buy him, he already have 2 or 3 caps under his belt.
Yeah, no, look, if you're playing, for example, in the Gold Cup, you're gonna get exposure. If you go to the Gold Cup and you get game, you're gonna get exposure. And that's how some people see how those players can get exposure and get sold. I understand that, but I cannot do it at the expense of somebody else who's a citizen who deserves to play, and I'm denying them the ability to play because I want to give somebody exposure.
Do it.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. Because right now, Motherfield should be in this Jamaica team.
Yeah, there are a lot of people who believe that Motherfield has been denied the ability to play for whatever reason, and we haven't gotten good explanation as to why. I've been told that he was unfit when he came to camp. All sort of excuses being made, and I look at Motherfield because I didn't watch the player play. I've been hearing about him. I look at his game. He's the only player I saw in the Jamaica team who played 10, who can make a 30-yard pass and split a defense on a consistent basis. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Right? And we need that, especially when we have wingers who can get behind defense. So the question, why would you bring a player like that in to help you? They gave him 20 minutes and people are saying he wasn't good. He's horrible. 20 minutes. And the man played the whole season and had double figures assists and double figures goals. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. You need players that can use his dynamic pass and split defense.
Yep.
And find wingers. And for instance, look at Seafras. Look what Seafras look normal in the game. Because Seafras is not getting any ball. You have to be coming too deep and doing too much work. That saying his defensive attribute is not needed to the team. But he's doing so much work. Liam Bailey don't do half the work that Seafras did in the game against Guatemala.
Yeah, yeah.
But people they don't like when they criticize the players. They don't like when you talk the truth about it hard enough and all those things. And these things need to stop. Because this is ridiculous right now. Our Jamaica has been one piece, can't go forward. Look at Japan. We beat Japan in the World Cup, and right now Jamaica cannot spark against Japan right now.
Well, I think what you're alluding to is the fact that if we look over the last 20 or 30 years and how some nations have progressed and some have how regressed, then you can ask the question, why is that the case? For some countries that have resources, it's because West Indies cricket is a good analogy with the football for Jamaica, actually, where you have poor management, limited resources, poor outcome. And I think people got to take a step back and figure out a way to change it.
The government not doing enough.
Well, sometimes we blame government. I don't like to include government in everything. I think the people who have been charged with running the programs have to have a better vision and better strategy and do a better job.
All right, quick question. I don't know if you will see this as a fundamental question, but I need to ask this before I come off the game.
Okay.
Do you think that the money that JFF receives from FIFA each annum, it is enough to support all the national teams?
No. No. So the money that they get is not enough. No. People don't realize a national team is expensive.
That's what I'm saying.
Wait, no. And it's not a national team, it's a national teams. Just flying a bunch of people private jet. Go look at private jet costs. You private jet with a bunch of players and administrators and support staff to go from one country to the next. A lot of money. And the money you get, maybe from CONCACAF to play in these tournaments or for World Cup, is not sufficient for the program to function. That's why you need to go out and generate more revenue. That's why people like Trinidad are struggling. That's why the smaller nations struggle, because they have to make tough decisions. What tournaments to play in? You hear Marlon from Grenada talk about that. They can't play in every tournament, so they're selective. Jamaica likes to play in every tournament.
So what you think is the right decision to make right now pertaining to the national team to gain funds? I was talking about years earlier, like jerseys, to sell more jerseys overseas.
Right. So
they can give revenue to support the team.
Well, your major source of funds are a number of routes, right? You have the government, you have FIFA, you have merchandising sale, you have gauge receipts, you have sponsorships, right? Those are your major. The question is, how do you maximize? And you probably have some, well, we don't have really naming rights, but just with sponsorship. But you got to try to figure out, how do I maximize each source of revenues? That's why you hear me beating the drum about sponsorship. You're going to have I see when Dennis was here, they brought in like 10 or 12 sponsors, and my head's starting to spin because I would love to see what those contracts look like. Because the problem you run into is this. So I bring you in and you sign a 2-year contract. That means you benefit from the work of if I get there, but you're not paying for it because your initial fee or the agreement that we made is based on how I was now, not what I may be. So what I would love to have is contingent to the World Cup. And you do that with all your sponsors. And obviously the value you provide and the benefit you provide to them allows you to determine what to charge. And here's another question. How do I calculate the value I provide to you? What methodology am I employing to figure out what method, what metrics, what data do I use to inform what's the possible benefit that you may derive from this? How do I calculate that? And how do I put that in a contract to make sure I get remuneration from such contracted agreement? That is something that takes thought to go through. So when you're saying you signed 12, I'm like, well, how much are they each of them paying you? How do you figure out what they should be paying you? How do you know the value you're providing to them? So all those things need to be worked out. Gate receipts. How do you get fans in seats, bums in seats? What's your contract like with Adidas? What are you? Is it exclusively they provide all merchandise, or do you have avenues to do it?
Thank you.
Yeah.
One quick suggestion.
Yeah.
Remember that one of the things I asked about the practice matches earlier is one reason. It's not one reason. One of the things why I asked about the practice matches is that when you're not playing practice matches, you cannot generate enough revenue because you cannot collect any money. Playing match at the national stadium, if you can do promotion and all those things, promote the team and advertise and all those things, get people to come in out to the national stadium. That helps generate revenue. So when you collect all those gate receipts, that money helps to spend on the team. They're not getting that right now. That's why I'm saying they need to find ways economically that they can use the funds to support the team because it takes funds to care.
Right, but right. No, you're right about. Go ahead.
Two-part question. Then again, what do you think about investing a lot, like getting some money and spending some money and try to get the youth them from the grassroots level?
Well, no, but you have to have you're struggling to support your national team, much less to invest in grassroots football. That's why the World Cup is an imperative, because $12 million goes a long way. I figure after the players get paid and people take their money, you may have $6 million to invest. I think the grassroots investing has to be revisited about that get executed, right? It has to be a much more comprehensive strategy to figure out how to generate revenues, sustainable revenues, to invest in the football. As I keep saying, there are countries like Belgium which have gone through this. Germany, which you hear people talk about when, I think it was Wilshire, somebody talked about when they played Germany under 18 team and where they were to where they are. Now, sometimes we can't analogize utilizing industrialized countries and Western countries as the basis to inform our view about what we should do because they have money and we don't have money. So we have to figure out, how does Uruguay do it? How does some other countries do it? And we take to pull the best from all these different countries, some with resources, some who doesn't have the resources, to help us think about what's the best program we can put in place. But we don't think that way, and that's why it's a struggle.
No, for the other poorer countries, they're doing better than Jamaica. What they do is that the younger youths, the younger kids, they keep them together. You understand? If they cannot support the whole country,
right?
Keeping camps and all those things, what they do, they try to keep a core of players together. And what they can make them data and all those things get tracked. Find the players, how well they're doing. You know what I mean? Track the coach, find out from the coach how this player doing, how that player doing. And you try to do it from there. You don't wait until the players can reach the senior level to try to monitor them. There's a lot of young, good youth that play the money cup and the back stack up. When it comes to the senior team, you can't see them.
Yeah, but Carla, we have no idea how good those kids are. And that's why we shouldn't use here's the point I want to make to people. We can't use the JPL or the Manning Cup or Dakar Cup to assess how good a kid really truly is. We have to get them exposure outside Jamaica as early as possible to really assess their ability. Because when you're playing against lower level competition and you think you're great and it steps up and you don't do well, then we curse them and say they win overseas and they fail.
But Cranky, look at it this way. Look at even the Phoenix organization.
Right.
All over the world, you care them
them to different places all over the world. You carry them to Belgium, you know what I mean? And then Slovakia, Slovenia, all those countries, and they beat them.
Right.
They beat them on those countries, first world countries.
Right. But the question is, who are they playing in those countries?
Yeah. Why?
So, for example, are you going to play Barcelona's junior team? Are you playing some Croatia third division team? But I'm just saying, who in the age level are you playing?
Yeah, they're playing like teams, like, you know, like in the Premier League, in the College League.
Okay.
You know, they're playing quality opponent.
Okay.
And they beat them.
Okay.
Because this guy, I don't remember his name. He was from St. Catherine at the same time when Raheem Sterling used to be at Liverpool. Raheem Sterling was in the same camp. You know what I mean? And he used to do very well, more than Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling mother used to congratulate him and tell him that he's doing so well. And she hope that one day her son gonna do very well like him, and she's not supporting her son. What that is that youth, he went and he ended up in the wrong company. Right? He never did anything wrong. It's somebody from England that knew him, that knew Raheem Sterling, tell me, I wasn't there, but I understand that the guy, he went out with some guys and they did something wrong and police hold him. You know what I mean?
Right.
And they say his first offense. They molest a girl, and they say his first offense, and he never touched the girl, so they let him go. You understand? And the next occasion again, some guys that he went out with, they do something against the law, and police hold him, and they say, oh, no man, we have to deport him, and then deport him. And that guy ended up back in Jamaica, and look at Raheem Sterling. Raheem Sterling ended up playing for England.
Right.
You understand?
Well, we do have these tragic stories sometimes.
Yeah, the talent is there. The talent is there. We just need the kids them to get the support.
All right. I hear the call. All right. Thanks a lot for the call.
Yeah, then again, Cranky, before me leave. Why is that you can't have no past player in the administration that know the struggles, that know what a struggle is like to play for the national team? How can I see that? We see that all over the world. How can I see that in Jamaica?
Well, they have past players. I don't know if they go through struggle, but they have past players. Burton is a past player. Freddie Butler is a past player.
Yeah, but they're not doing at a certain level.
Well, Freddie coached the under-17 team that failed to go to the World Cup. Burton is the assistant coach for the women's team. They have a few. What Jamaica should think about is two people who have played for Jamaica are in the England youth setup. With the youth football. That's what they should do. Those are examples.
Yeah, good example. All right, Cranky, I'll call in another time. I'll give somebody another chance.
Yeah, man. Bless up. Thanks a lot. Appreciate the call.
You're doing a good job. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Appreciate it.
Yeah, cool.
All right, everyone. I'll sign off now. Before the game has been ringing on my phone about 10 times today because he can't wait to beat me because yesterday I tried to call him, couldn't find him. I sent out a missing persons report. And he says he's been trying to find me today because he's been calling me since morning. So I'm going to link him. I don't know where he is. We're both going to be in our own misery. He got 5-0. I got 1-0. But he plays supposedly a better team. Yeah, it's interesting. But first of all, I want to thank everyone for being here. I truly appreciate you being here. It's been an interesting discussion concerning what transpired yesterday, which was very painful, to be frank. You know, when you go into a situation where you're sure about something, you're almost sure, you're not 100% sure, but you're almost sure. And then you walk away thinking, how the heck did this happen? And it was bad. It was not like, it's happened. They just barely beat us. We had more possession. I think we had a 52-48 possession stats. It wasn't that close in terms of the quality of the stats and how the game transpired. And so it's very, very difficult to digest what happened yesterday. As I said this morning, my phone started ringing at 6 o'clock and didn't stop most of the morning. People are so upset. But I would say I hope the team regroups and come again. as you know that saying goes. And I hope they play better again in Friday against Guadeloupe. But I would say this though, that every aspect of the football has to be better. The administration has to be better. The coaching has to be better. And just as important, more important, the players have to be better. But the coach has to put the players in the right position to win and to do well. The coach cannot be a detriment. The coach has to be an asset. And then yesterday, the coach didn't help. The coach hurt. And my last thing, I'm going to beat my fellow media personnel, even though I don't think of myself as really media. When you go to these press conferences and you're asking questions, you don't have to think about the questions, because the fans and those in the chat provide so much data and information to inform your view about what direction you should go in with your questions. Yesterday was a day where the question about the midfield should have been paramount in the discussion. And going forward, people, and I think A.M. Henry said this, because I was saying this yesterday, your question cannot be ambiguous. Your question cannot leave room to divert about what you're trying to achieve. Your question got to be intrusive. It has to be direct. It has to be insightful. It has to be penetrative. Your question should be no navigation, A, B, C, and you got to come back with an answer D. It's almost like a yes or no, but more elaboration is needed, not just yes and no, like you'd have a prosecutor or the defense attorney asks, right? So yesterday, the question should have been, one of those questions anyway should have been, how in God's name, well, maybe put it a little bit differently, since you want to seem like you're rude, but I will put it my way. How in God's name do you go out to a tournament with two functional midfielders when the tournament is not, it's a tournament with a number of different games? How do you go with 9 defensive players, 9 offensive players, and really 2 midfielders? Because you had 5 on the list, one's not a midfielder, one you knew would have been leaving, and one was hurt. How does anyone in their right mind get themselves in that situation? And it manifests itself in the game because we were awful in the midfield. And even when you were awful in the midfield, how don't you provide direction to the players on the field to say, let's change how we're operating because we're too spread out as a midfield. We're not being cohesive. We're not playing together. We're not providing triangles so we can move the ball up the field. We're not working cohesively together. How could that not happen? It's amazing how that works. But my hope is that they'll realize that it's not acceptable what has been done, and they'll come back better, hopefully, because we can't go through another night of what happened. We really can't. We really cannot go through another night. Somebody texts me and says, I'm struggling to see which players can play creative link for Jamaica. That's a good question. I don't know. Maybe we should go get Madison. All right. So people, thanks for being here. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to sign up and saying, I hope you have a wonderful evening. And I will try to do the same. You know what? I should say that outro, my Cranky Life outro. I haven't played it in a while. So I'm going to play it. Peace out. Cranky Life is the best to be now. For the best sports talk and it's free, yo. Cranky Life will be your guiding light by keeping you informed both day and night. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. From the courts to the field, we'll never lose because Cranky has the hottest news. With expert analysis, we break it down. Our in-depth coverage is best in town. Cranky Life, tell them. Cranky Life, heed them. Cranky Life, want them. Cranky Life. Cranky Life, where the sports is spicy and where we keep the discussion lively. Cranky Life, get to know the name because Cranky analysis is never lame. Cranky Life, give me my Cranky Life. I want my Cranky Life. Must have my Cranky Life. Whether it's football or track and field, you know Cranky is at the wheel. So join the journey through victory and defeat and subscribe and don't miss a beat of Cranky Life. Tell them, Cranky Life. Heed them, Cranky Life. Want them, cranky live. If you're from England or USA, from Kingston or Bombay, from Kenya or Canada, Lagos or Havana, visit Cranky Live. Tune into Cranky Live. Like up Cranky Live. Subscribe to Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Coming to you on weekdays. Cranky Live sometimes on Sundays. Pull up a chair and take a seat because Cranky will always bring the heat. Cranky Live. Me say fi tell them Cranky Live. Me say fi heed them Cranky Live. On them Cranky Live. Cranky Live will be around. Cranky Live is the best in town. Me say fi heed them. Me say fi want them. Me say fi heed them. Want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Cranky Live. Cranky Live. Cranky. Heed them, want them, heed them, want them. Heed, want, heed them.